to the freak show.
Well,
This is padded cell.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Sprinkles.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mature.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the mic.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
You know how hard it is to talk between those like minute little pauses between that?
I figured you were just repeating yourself over and over and over again, you know.
Nope. Got in there with the titty sprinkles too. That was a hard one to squeeze in that space.
Dude, I heard sprinkles. I
heard was sprinkles. I didn't hear titty sprinkles.
I was like, titty sprinkles.
No, I heard titty sprinkles.
Yeah. And then it was mature. Yeah.
I heard that.
Well, I don't really understand. You know, the disclaimer says that it may contain nudity, but then when we try to do nudity, we get kicked off YouTube or whatever. It's like I don't get it.
That's Facebook.
It's off of Facebook.
That was only Facebook that cared about our non-existent nudity for that show.
I can't help my bald head.
Was your hair. Yeah, it was yours.
I know. Ron's just over there like, you know.
Hi, Tom Dog.
Hey, man.
It's not fair, man.
Life's not fair.
Yeah, it doesn't go by way.
My hair migrated. It went south for the winter.
Possibly.
It didn't.
Well, it did one year, and it just didn't find its way back. It was like, I'm in the South now, buddy.
Yeah.
It didn't come to Texas.
Back up there.
Yeah.
It's too hot up there.
Fuck that.
Oh, jeez.
So I had a lovely conversation with a lady named Heather Phillips earlier today over at the Magnificent Authors / Magnificent Mamas podcast. That was earlier today. It was pre-recorded, so when the episode gets up, I'll let you guys know. But dude, she was fantastic. Super knowledgeable. She's a writer herself, into like, you know, publicity and just different things like that. And I think we need to kidnap her and bring her around here a couple times here soon.
Yes.
First time I've been on another show that wasn't ours in a while.
That is awesome. But first, we are doing the Water Tower Hill lovely publishers.
Oh, I may just kidnap her for a padded cell one of these times, or Allied Society even. She said she was interested in all that stuff, so we can.
Oh, we want her on all of it.
Yeah, we got lots of shows we can kidnap people for.
Yes.
That's what we do. We kidnap people.
No, I can't.
And now
I'm here.
Yeah, and now Pyle's got a van, so it makes it easier for us to kidnap people.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Speaking of you and the thing behind you, I actually got to see a race with a hearse, and I got to see the hearse win. It was epic.
Nice.
Doesn't the hearse always win in the end?
Well, yes.
Final ride.
You can cheat death as much as you want, but one of these times you're not going to be able to be on the winning side.
Yeah,
Jeff had a near rinse-wind experience.
Unless you give him a Melvin, you know, and beat him in Battleship, like in Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Melvin to me.
Sorry. Yep. I love those movies so much. You know, they're making a fourth one. They just came back and did Bill and Ted, the third one, like yeah, they did that one like right at like the height of COVID, and now they're already talking about maybe doing another one and also focusing a little bit more on their kids.
That would be interesting.
Williamina and Theodora.
Yeah. That's one of the things they didn't talk about. What's up?
Speaking of children, the funnest thing to do is bring my little girl down to the dungeon here and let her use this phone. That's actually it's a corded phone. I actually got one, and I let her call people off of my regular cell phone and just punch in the numbers, and then it's like, "Hello," and she goes, "Hello, who is this?"
You mentioned the dungeon. My favorite thing is to threaten my actors with her because she'll just come and beat the shit out of them for me, and I love it.
Who? Ivy? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. She comes down and she'll just beat on someone, and sometimes look at us like, no, that's the good one. Beat on this one. She go, okay. Then she just run over and grab something and start beating on. Like, yes, I have assistance.
Or
It's fun.
Or we
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Or we could give the kid to the telemarketer and tell them to talk about their favorite things.
No, give them to me.
Somebody got the entire history of Bendy and the Ink Machine one day. It was epic.
One time I told one the shapes of my poop for 30 minutes before they hung up. I was in the bathroom and I didn't care. And another time I talked about dinosaurs for at least like 25 minutes.
Hi.
Let's
Hey,
go Scotland.
What? Scotland.
Let's go
Long
Scotland.
way, my friend.
Wow.
We have a
Greetings from
Glaswegian.
Rastopia.
Wow.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. Are
let's
we talking?
let's get them in video. I want to hear the Scottish.
Well, they might be celebrating St. Patty's Day.
Oh,
I don't know. Do they celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Scotland?
I do not know.
I
Robert,
don't
do you guys celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Scotland?
I don't
feel like
think
it's
they
a
have
no, but like I don't know for sure.
I don't know. Would it be like a? We don't run the border there.
Well, I
There's
mean,
a
we
lot of
technically think of St. Patrick's Day as an
They do.
Irish
Yes,
holiday,
they
but I
do.
don't even think that Ireland. Yeah, we
Look
do.
at that.
I don't think Ireland even celebrates, St. Patrick's Day, or at least to them, it probably has a very different meaning.
Yeah, probably. But you know what? It's okay. We don't celebrate anything over here correctly.
Well, I mean, when you
Alright.
think about it, most of our holidays in the
More you
U.S.
know.
they revolve around either drinking or food.
And that's perfect Irish right there.
I got green on today. See, I got some green in my Rick and Morty. I got green in my pipe right here. I'm good to go. I'm not much of a drinker, but I'll smoke. I'll smoke some green. Don't drink. The green.
I got green on the shirt right here, but if anybody wants to know, I got some green on the Fruit Baloo there.
Drinking.
I realize that I'm not wearing any green. I should probably go rectify that situation.
Go pinch yourself immediately, sir.
I'm pinching myself. It's just off camera. You can't see it.
Fair enough. I mean, it
That's
probably should be off camera so
that's-
we don't get banned.
That was scratching your nuts, wasn't it?
I plead the fifth.
That's called
How did you know?
adjusting. Just saying.
How did you know?
He's got other cameras.
Hold on.
Oh, no.
In your bottom just said, "Hello, boys."
It's for the Only Owls website.
Oh, boy. I got to work on my Only Owls website.
Where we
Holy
put the word hooter in a different direction.
Yeah.
Or the
Oh, hey. We have friends. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey,
How you doing?
There we go.
Are you
you
happy
doing-
with your new style?
What have I done?
You did it.
I know.
Your hair
You
is
know what?
looking
I like
remarkably
it.
closer to mine.
I like it.
So when I wore a hat for like a really long time when we started the network?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why. My hair does the exact same thing, like exact fucking same thing. When I cut it and it grows out again, it just gets to that point where you can't stop it. You just got to get through it, man. And it doesn't look terrible. Like especially it looks like you gel it down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back to using product.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely forgot that it tries to, succeed from my head whenever I do this. And the lack of beard, I kind of I feel naked.
Yeah.
So
That's understandable.
like this morning at church, I was wearing my Alice Cooper beanie. just because. And yeah,
Oh yeah,
Oh boy.
it's the '90s floof. That's what I call it.
with the striper shirt.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice, very nice.
Striper, no striping.
Yeah,
that's a new one.
Necro, no necroing.
we started the show with Titty
What?
Sprinkle, so it's only going downhill from here.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I can tell you this much: the lady who cut my hair, she started off. She had a job in front of her. I made her work for that tip, and by the time she was done, she was amazed at the transformation. What was underneath this hairy, shaggy thing that was sitting in front of her. But the reason why I did this was because I finally got fed up with all the shedding, it just picking. Every single time I tried to eat something, I had to pick like one of my hairs out of it.
Yep.
It just,
See, now you look 10 years younger. You don't look a day over 50.
I am 50.
hey, you got one of those gunshot sounds there?
A
He just shot
gunshot
himself
sound.
in- yeah,
Actually,
he just
hold on.
shot himself in the foot there.
Well,
This one says PUBG, so I think it's about shooting things. Oh, that's not shooting things. I don't know what that is. Oh wait, okay, this one says gunshot. Let's hope for the best. There we go.
actual is gunshot. Okay.
There you go.
So many things on here are not what they say they're supposed to be.
Because I'm sitting here thinking he's like only 13 years older than I am. He cannot be that old.
That's crazy, man.
There you go.
Very crazy.
You know what? This weekend's been like one of those roller coasters for me, and I'm so glad that, I can just come on here, blow some steam off, have a great laugh, and you know what, Ron? I didn't know you were that much of a comedian.
What?
He's setting up for something. I know it. I don't know what it is yet, but he's setting something up.
Go for it.
Keep going, Pyle.
Oh no!
Where are you going with this?
It's going to be a thing that's got to roll. Just wait
Okay.
All
It'll
right.
come back. It'll come back.
Uh-huh.
until
but
I totally
today's-
forget.
Today's one of those days where you just gotta you put your headset on. You got to get in front of the camera and your mic and just say out loud. You know?
Hey, Satan. Nice.
I started fucking with my voice changer when we were doing the D&D Adventure show last Thursday, and now because I completely forgot I could do any of that until that episode, and now I just can't stop.
And
You know,
The Squirrel
Touching
King makes me
buttons.
happy.
So, Pyle, I'm
cool.
genuinely curious. Did you get deployed? Did your Salvation Army get deployed down to Logan?
Ohio lost yet another town to tornadoes. Not
So-
breaking news, unfortunately.
So they are active in Delaware County. Over by the lake, they are not as of 9:00 right now. But there's conversations coming because we got some phone calls and they wanted to know if we could do this. And as soon as they gave me the
Yes.
number,
They're still there. Those three, Ron, Pyle, and Raz are
Our towns are left.
yeah,
are alive and well in Ohio. So I know there are at least three left.
Any story I ever write though about like camping or like a lake, that's the area that just got lost to a tornado. That's that area. Like all that stuff is just now gone or destroyed. It's
quit,
sucks.
quit writing things into existence. there,
Yeah,
Raz.
right.
One of the trailer parks that had like the nice vacation trailers that went up. My sister just sold her trailer from there just a couple years ago. But we used to go over there a lot too, and that whole park is gone now. It's nuts.
The
They
three are in
three are
bunkers.
in bunkers.
I mean, I am deep in the basement in the middle of a place where no one would ever want to bomb. So yeah, I'm kind of in a bunker.
You know what?
Pyle's in a basement too. I'm the only one that's on the second floor.
Actually, Pyle is in the sub basement. He's in the basement below Rob's house, but he also lives in a village. So he's in a village basement.
Oh,
so he's
oh,
extra safe.
we said it. So
Yep. We live in a village.
but no, Yeah, tornadoes happened on Thursday evening, and it wasn't a light amount of tornadoes. In fact, our county, where I live, was the only one that did not get hit. That every single one that surrounds our county did get hit.
Yeah.
So there was 7 or 5 counties that did get hit around us, and around Springfield even got hit with something.
Bit, yeah. Yeah, Michelle was over there too. She said kind of the outskirts of Springfield, around like to the direction of Midway and all that stuff. She said a little bit of stuff over there had some damage.
Right. So they were bringing up what they wanted to do and what their thought process was, and it changes.
Yeah.
It's not changing a little bit. It's modifying a lot, and we absolutely hope that the people that need help get help. And they said it's not going to be a small cleanup. It's going to be a gigantic disaster for a very long time, because they said 9 houses that they cannot find any traces of the houses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're gone.
The biggest grouping of tornadoes since Tornado-geddon, like 5 years ago. That much area of destruction since then. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, sending people over is great, but we all have to take in consideration and really realize not everybody needs to go all at once. It needs to be organized. Hey, can you help us this day? Hey, can you help us this day? You can. And sending supplies all at once is great until you send a whole bunch of supplies that is not going to be able to be strained out through that that time frame.
Actually, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So in this book I talk about all the time, Fantastic Land by Mike Bachoven.
Yep.
They talk about with their emergency services and stuff. Like hurricanes are getting Florida, and you got the truckers that get pissed because they want to truck the water down, but they have to, do all the stop points to unload it so you guys can pass it out. But then some people they were complaining about in this book will send stupid shit. Like there was a bunch of people and like this big church organization that gathered all these stuffed animals and loaded a whole semi full of stuffed animals for kids. And they get there with the stuffed animals and they can't spare anyone to stop and hand out stuffed animals because the crisis is still going on and they're trying to save people. So what ended up happening was they needed the trailer for other shit. So they literally just dumped out all the stuffed animals into the floodwaters and used it to actually fill it up with water and supplies to save people. Is that sort of thing like accurate? Like, do people send shit that's just not useful or you guys just can't use at the time?
Well, it's kind of like setting up a Christmas function. Whenever you set up a Christmas function, what's the first thing that comes through your head? That poor innocent little child, right?
Right.
The news network showed a Disney box. This Disney box was for people that was going to go on a Disney trip or that they just went on a Disney trip, and this is the box of stuff that they got. And it was everywhere. So showing that makes you think of that stuff. And when you think of that stuff, man, I need to send this. I need to send that. And the thing is, if you've got a lot more things that need to get sent, you need to have a pretty good idea of what you could do. If you've got the room and you got the storage and this and that,
hey, Brandon.
Send the things. Hi, Brandon. Send the things to someplace that wants to send them out. Like if
instead of trying to send it on your own, like group up with people so you can do like one big. Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
And if you do group it up, make sure you send it to someone that is going to go and be able to distribute it correctly as much as they possibly can. Right. I mean, a whole semi of stuffed animals is awesome, but once again, that is not exactly what is needed, time or anything. So if I need to offload that, put that off to the side, and I don't have room for it, it's kind of a situation.
It's more of a burden than an assistance.
Right. I mean, blankets are awesome to send, but I don't need a whole semi of blankets.
No.
Food is what needs to be sent. Water is what needs to be sent. And it can be anything from big bottles to Small ones. I mean,
Yeah.
jugs of water. That helps them cook. That helps them clean.
Yeah, potable water. Yeah.
Right. So something like that is a major, major, major thing. I mean, sometimes you don't have you don't have any place to go to the bathroom except for miles and miles and miles away.
Right. Exactly.
So these are all things that you're not going to have clean supplies and this and that. The cleaning supplies should be sent into the second or third wave of distribution.
Okay.
And don't quote me on everything because I know how things need to be done, but I can't say, okay, well, that would be third, that would be second, whatever. But I can say that the food needs to be non-perishable because you don't know when you're going to be able to get the stuff done up. Like, I know for a fact they sent a whole semi load of stuffing, like stovetop stuffing. And they're like, well, what are you going to do with that? And they said, we're going to be here for a while. And trust me, every meal is going to have stovetop stuffing in it. And every meal has stovetop stuffing.
That sounds delicious and wonderful.
And they ran out of it. They ran out of it.
That's an interesting point that you bring up, Paul, because when a lot of people donate food and stuff like that, and you say it has to be non-perishable, of course, everybody donates canned goods.
Right.
And then they get a shit ton of canned goods, but nobody thinks about the little things like seasonings and condiments and ketchup, and mustard. Mayonnaise can last a little while before it starts to go bad, but nobody thinks about donating that type of stuff that would actually make the food better. So
yeah, right. And sometimes you have to sacrifice the best tasting food for just getting something into you. And that's when ramen noodles is a magical item. I will tell you now, if I've got little chicken patties.
My department. I will tell you now because I practically live off the shit.
I got actually made me violently ill after years and years of eating like nothing but ramen for a period of time. It made me so ill that now just like smelling a ramen seasoning packet immediately just makes me throw up. Like which sucks. I used to love
that.
Ramen.
Has not happened to me yet, and I hope it never does because I love ramen.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You don't always have to use them packets. Like
no, it doesn't matter if I smell the packet. If I even see the ramen, my brain will still get that. What were you saying, Jenny?
Is it feasible to let the teenagers volunteer?
It can be. It can be. And the thing is, where is the mentality on a teenager? And I will say that because I have people that absolutely are teenagers that are with our crew. But the thing is,
they just want to graduate high school and get those volunteer hours for whatever, project or class they're
yet.
For.
I want to bring something up real quick. Hold on a minute. Things like this. Okay, guys. They're offering services to us in the chat. Normally we just ban these, but we're going to ban you in a second. But before I do that, I want to bring it up. This is the exact example of something you don't do on a show. Like, if you're a professional business and you want to reach out, send an email, man. Busting in to advertise on a live show? Come on. Fuck off with that. Sorry, go ahead. It needs to be pointed out once in a while on why these.
Okay, are we done with it?
So yeah. You
ban it?
Okay. I just needed to bring it up to point it out because this happens from time to time, and we usually ban it without thinking about it. But this is Patted Damn Cell, so I'm going to say shit about it.
Right. So I'm going to go back to that.
Yeah.
I'm going back. I'm going to go back to the teenagers. Teenagers are awesome. But they have to also, you can't have a parent send their kid in and say, hey, you're going to do this. The kid has got to want to do it, or the things ain't going to get done what need to get done that could be done by a teenager. Some teenager groups, they'll be like, okay, as soon as everything's clear and it's safe, we want to go in as a big group and clean stuff up. That is a good thing. Sending teenagers and say, hey, we've prepared the food. Just go ahead and take something and stick it in here and prepackage it. That's another great thing. sending a teenager in to go search and rescue, that will mess them up in a heartbeat. If they do not have the right mentality in their brain,
right.
Search and rescue is not a logical thing for any teenager to do unless their parents or their guardians or something like that is right with them. That way they can talk them out of it. You know, hey, I know what you just seen. Come on, let's go. Let's talk about it because there's a person's leg.
Yeah.
It's something that people don't put into consideration. Hey, I got friends missing. I want to be there. I want to do this. We all know that people want to do stuff, but we also have to take in consideration when it comes down to a disaster, you cannot go rushing in there and not have any idea of what you're doing. Make sure you go in with a group, like underneath one of the group banners. There's many different teams that go in there. Make sure you go contact them and go in under them. Otherwise, you could be considered one of the people that ain't supposed to be there, or even worse, one of the people that we call the scrappers. The scrappers will go in there and be like, well, that got ripped out of someone's house. That's got to get moved out of the road. It needs to come in the back of my vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's common. It's common, and no one thinks about that. But that is something that you do not want to get labeled, because when they're going and they're declaring martial law or what they're doing just to get people out, that's the main thing. These areas around this tornado, the roads are closed. They're shut down. They are patrolled. If they catch you in there, your house is not safe. They will mark this area as a not safe place. If your house is safe and you go in that area, all you got to do is tell them what house you are. And usually they will give you a paper that all you got to do is show them, this is where I live. I've already been verified. I'm good to go.
Yeah, and another thing also with looters and scrappers is what a lot of these people don't realize is insurance, okay? So insurance is really fucking weird. They may or may not help you in an act of God, depends on your insurance. In Ohio, you can get tornado insurance. You kind of need it. But if you have a lot of stuff that you need to claim with insurance, right? A lot of people in a lot of situations when things go down will drive around the neighborhoods to find their belongings to actually legitimately take their stuff back to their home to help with insurance adjustments and things like that. If you see things like that and you know who they belong to, when it's all done, take it to them. Don't steal it, because that's someone's shit that not only will they never get back, but they can't even get help with replacing it if it's something important to them. I know people that have stolen like breathing machines and shit from people's houses during this stuff. Like, Go ahead, Jenny.
And
go ahead.
Please, Jenny. Under any circumstances, because this happened to me, go into their houses when they've had to seek shelter somewhere else momentarily and steal their purse.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, jeez.
That sucked.
Wow.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just
scruples.
Like, what kind of
man? My inhaler.
No scruples.
Oh, jeez.
So we had an issue with another recent string of murders in Riverside over the last 6 months. Some bodies are being found in one of the lakes over there, where they've had to shut down help. Like, people have been angry. Like, citizens in Riverside have been pissed because the cops have all shut it down. They won't even let anybody go to help. Why wouldn't they want anybody to help with search and rescue? It's because all the people that are wanting to go and do this are people of loved ones that are missing, who they think might be there. And they just go around, they run over evidence, they screw up the crime scenes, they fuck everything up to the point where even they find the body, no resolution will ever be found because any possible evidence is just destroyed.
And getting back to the teenagers, this is really overgeneralizing, and I admit that, but it can apply to more than just teenagers as well. But if you're going to be volunteering for anything, especially search and rescue, you cannot be scrolling on your cell phone. You can't be taking pictures or chatting with
I wasn't even bringing that up.
He's right, though.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
Sadly, I know
if
just
you're on
as many
your phone,
adults
you
as
might be
children do
missing
this.
the leg that's sticking out of the ground there that you're supposed to be looking for in the first place.
I know you might be little Jenny playing spotlight tag, all distracted until you see the foot and the body roll down the slide. I mean, you never know what happens.
I will tell you, I have a friend that he's in Kentucky. Me and Raz just got done talking about him a couple of weeks ago. He actually has drones, and he is contracted to be on call with these drones. And these drones, he will actually take them out of the truck and he'll place them down on these pads, and they flash lights so no one hits them, and they all go up and they make a gridding system. Okay?
It's cool as shit.
Do not touch a drone that is on the ground.
Those things are expensive too.
It will touch you back.
The owner will.
I mean, do not. There are safety things out there that people just. Well, I've never seen this, and look, somebody just lost something.
Oh yeah.
Don't touch things. If you want to help, get a hold of a organization that they go out and they do this stuff. They will give you the assistance. They will give you the training. The Salvation Army is worldwide.
I actually wanted you to list a couple groups like that people could call for emergencies if they wanted to help or donate or whatever. Like you mentioned Salvation Army. Are there a couple of other big ones that you can think of that might?
The Red Cross is a big, huge one too. And you know what? I get along. I'm with the Salvation Army, and I get along with the Red Cross. I know that a lot of people think, oh, those two ain't friends. They've been on the phone with me multiple times during this whole thing, and I'm not giving out any information that you guys cannot find.
But it's still helpful to direct panicking or not sure what to do. Like, we know now where to call.
Here in the United States, EMA, Emergency Management, give me a sec here on the A. Agency. Association would be OHA. That's where I was like,
you didn't screw it up in the first 30 seconds, but you just barely missed the first 30-minute mark.
So you got EMA. EMA it's a state, it is local, and then it's also, countrywide. It's something that they will go, they will take you in, they will help you get training as much as any of these other groups. There's the Southern Baptists, they do a lot of emergency stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just, there are people out there. There are biker groups that do emergency stuff. So it's just, if you want to do research, go ahead and pull it up and just pull in. Or you could contact your local EMA and ask them, hey, who's some groups around here in my area? Now, being out of the country.
But before I get to it, I know James was wanting to pop in and say something real quick.
Go ahead.
As far as tornadoes go, one of my friends, he was a teenager around, around 2010 or so, there was a massive tornado that hit a camping and what do you call it?
A minute ago.
I'm sorry.
ARV camp?
Yeah. No, not an RV camp, but one of those
camping.
Let me talk, please. It was a camping place. What do you call it? Like one of those national park kind of setups near a lake. And he was an Eagle Scout. He was 18, and he helped out with the search and rescue when that tornado hit that particular park because his group was there. His Boy Scout group was there doing the camping, and he had the training to help out, but he still, he came across, he saw one of his scout members die in front of him with the aftermath and everything, and that, stuff like that does affect. I don't care how seasoned you are, that still kind of gets to you, I would imagine.
How old was he?
He was 18.
Wow.
He was an Eagle Scout, so he essentially took lead on the whole, making sure everybody was okay, and giving aid and all that fun stuff. But still, that was probably the worst 24 hours he spent. He was telling me, I would never want to find myself in that kind of situation to begin with.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now you mentioned different people you could call. Are there some agencies that are better for certain types of emergencies? I've always wondered that, because this is something I have no idea about. Because these talking about the tornadoes and stuff. I just wonder.
It depends on where you're at.
Okay.
So you go and you have the Salvation Army and you have the Red Cross. Is there more presence of the Red Cross in that area? Is there more presence of the Salvation Army in that area?
And I know in hurricanes sometimes it's National Guard even.
Well, yeah, National Guard can get called in, absolutely. National Guard can get called in on any state, and any state can send their National Guard into another state to assist.
I learned that back in 2005. There was a snowstorm that was so bad, we had to get help from the National Guard in Dayton to remove snow mounds that were so terrible and so big in like important major areas, and it took them weeks just to like tunnel through it enough for emergency services to get it. It was
National Guard. National Guard is more military. They usually can't mobilize until they're ordered to do so.
Right.
And they probably will not mobilize until the state has exhausted its own resources before it starts calling the National Guard in.
In the state of Ohio, we have Task Force.
Yeah.
Task Force 1, Task Force 2, Task Force 3, Task Force 4. And every single task force has something different. Task Force 1 is a search and rescue. They will absolutely go, and I know that they were deployed into Kentucky when Kentucky had the major flood. That it was really devastating. So Task Force 1 mobilized, and whenever they get mobilized and they're leaving the state of Ohio, to get them out the door even quicker, the highway patrol will start right with them, and they will go up to the state border, and they clear every vehicle out of the way to get them going.
Wow. So, obviously there's all kinds of emergencies, but, like, what happens? Who do I call there's an emergency in my pants?
You call your wife first.
I mean, say she's busy. Like, then what do I do? Like, I had to bring some levity once in a while. But I like back to the point. I did see this really cool documentary. It's about these 4 boys in Oregon, and they basically, it's this crazy story about them coming across this body in the woods in Oregon. It's just these 4 guys, they're 4 kids, and like the whole documentary is about them coming to terms with their lives and their whole like home situations and like discovering more about themselves, like somehow through a dead body. It's a really good documentary. It's back.
Was it called Stand By Me?
Yeah, back in the 80s. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And Kiefer Sutherland was in it.
Yeah. It was I think it was Will Wheaton, Jerry O'Connell, River Phoenix, and Corey Feldman that were the main characters because he was in it also.
So
very important children.
There's also this game that both kids and adults can get on their phone that take you to random places to find things. And sometimes you find things you don't expect, like dead bodies.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that already?
Oh, yeah.
No, this is an alternate game. This one involves weird little monsters.
Oh,
that people try to find and get.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like
like
STDs.
Pokemon Go? So you're talking about?
Yeah, people have literally found dead bodies playing Pokemon Go.
And in case you guys are new to the show, we are not making fun of emergency situations. We like to break the serious subjects up with levity sometimes because it makes it easier to listen to and just to kind of go through. But these are various, important situations that we will break in and like get serious with you about from time to time. This is important shit.
All of these tornadoes coming out right now, and suddenly this is a year when Twisters is going to be released in theaters. Coincidence? I think not.
This is just normal.
This is normal.
Raz actually had a good thought about this. A couple of weeks ago, we went to the Loveland Frogman Festival, and we found so many roundabouts. And there was actually this one roundabout. I said, I wonder if you could get arrested for just going around it a couple of times. And we did. And now there's tornado outbreaks, and now we can confirm that tornadoes are created by them gosh darn roundabouts.
And there's actually like legit people on Reddit and Facebook and other places talking about how there weren't as many tornadoes before roundabouts. And that's something Pyle brought to my attention. And I've actually looked this up since then. There are numerous people and organizations that truly believe that roundabouts cause tornadoes. Because when the cars go around and around, it stirs things up and it creates a tornado. Like, people legitimately believe this.
Okay.
And then you get like one path that, you know, Pyle can't turn on properly direction-wise, and we run across like 5 back-to-back for no reason.
So what if you start driving around clockwise?
We thought about that, and my theory is that that's how you fight tornadoes, because you're doing the whole Superman reverse effect. That's what I think, anyway, because we literally just discussed this with me, Pyle, and Matt yesterday, wasn't it? Yesterday.
It was.
Wow.
So if there's a tornado in your area, find a roundabout, drive as fast as you safely can in the opposite direction, and fight that fucking tornado, man. Take it down, because only you can prevent tornadoes, or live by giant lakes. Apparently, people believe that will also save them.
I know what I'll be Googling tonight.
Yep.
Do roundabouts cause tornadoes?
We need a new shirt that's an instructional thing on how to fight tornadoes.
So
if you set up the graphic, we can do it.
I'll talk to Dell.
Yep.
It's the owl pointing at people. Only you can prevent tornadoes. It's just
So
a little picture of a guy in a roundabout.
Before we absolutely get off of this whole situation of talking about emergencies, I do want to point out really quick to anybody, if you have been part of an emergency, you have done the assisting of the emergency, you've had friends that are part of the emergency, make sure you guys are aware of your mental health after it. Because just shutting it out is not going to be the answer. So I'm just going to put that out there. You seen something, you don't see it every single day, it plays heck on you. Make sure that you watch it. You're watching your friends, and that's what I wanted to end on. Just be out there for it. It's not just a one and done.
Yeah.
And my only addition to that one subject is it is okay, despite what some of your friends may say, that it takes you more than like a week or a day or a month to get past the idea that you nearly died and you saw a dead body afterwards because of the tornado. It is fine if it takes you a while.
Yeah.
Just ignore those people. It's like, you're fine. You can get over it now. No, I really can't.
And if you see a cow flying, take shelter.
There's actually kids that have came back to school and noticed their friends have not been there after a disaster like that. Yeah. And that's all they can picture is going in there and seeing that empty desk, or even worse, seeing someone taking the desk out of the room because it's just been confirmed.
That's devastating.
Bad training. Do not ever do that. That's what happened Silver Bridge.
I kind of wonder if you were able to catch that cow that's flying in the tornado and to milk it. Would that be like the greatest milkshake ever?
Like, what if you just happen to like grab a stool that just floats near you, and like you're just on the stool, like with the cow and the fucking tornado, and then you start your own business.
No,
by the time you land, you have a
bicycle.
Now, you know how you hear stories about 2x4s, like the wind from a tornado lodging 2x4s in the middle of the cow, and the cow still lives. You kind of wonder what the milk tastes like afterwards, kind of like cedar taste to it, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe that just provides more flavor.
Just pining for more.
Nice. Well done.
New flavor by Dr. Squatch.
Maple flavored milk.
Maple milk.
Pine.
I'm pining for some milk.
Or milk scented pine saw.
Oh.
My pine saw brings all the boys in the yard, and they're laughing.
How many times did you hear that on that trip?
When we got our milkshakes a bunch.
We were getting the milkshakes, and I was like holding it. I was like, My milkshake brings all the boys to the town, and
I know.
they're like,
He was
"It's better
dancing
than
and
yours."
singing in UDF while they were making the milkshakes. That's how it started.
Oh,
It started
yeah.
well before we received them, sir.
Oh,
Kids,
yeah.
I have a question pertaining to the milkshake then. What is, in your opinion, what would be, or what is, or have you ever had, I guess that's 3 questions, the greatest or the
Calm down, Bret
perfect
Hart.
milkshake?
Vanilla milkshake. With
Okay,
cherries.
elaborate. You can't just say vanilla milkshake. You have to give some details here.
Just vanilla milkshake and put some cherries in it, and you drink it. I like vanilla milkshake. That's literally all I drink milkshake was. Is just straight up vanilla milkshakes.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
vanilla milkshakes can vary by quality depending on where it's made, how it's made. Like,
Where-
what is
Okay,
your
UDF vanilla bean milkshakes specifically with cherries are my favorite milkshake.
okay? See, that's
It's not my
fair.
favorite ice cream necessarily, but it's my favorite milkshake.
All right, fair. What about you, Pyle?
I will tell you a milkshake not to get, and it's that cookies and cream, because all of a sudden you're like just pulling it through the straw because the dang thing shot up the thing. How many times did you see me? I'm like driving.
Just go. Oh, there's another one.
What
All right,
about
so
you,
that's-
Jenny?
That's your what not to get. What is your what to get?
I
you got,
found
Jenny?
locally that they make coffee milkshakes. So they had a white mocha milkshake at our local
Oh.
DQ,
Hmm.
and I put it in here because it was melting and it's double walled. But I think that's the favorite one I've had recently, because it's hard to find a place around here that will make you a milkshake. So yeah.
I could tell you my favorite milkshake when I was younger, when I really, really was getting milkshakes, was Burger King. Because they used to put chocolate and strawberry, and you'd have a chocolate covered strawberry milkshake, and it was delicious. But that was just one of those things. I never really got milkshakes too much, so that was just the really good treat. And I guess every other milkshake I've ever had was just like, okay.
That was like your pinnacle of milkshakiness.
What about you, James?
Well, I would have to say, first of all, Jenny, you're just now discovering the coffee flavored shakes.
No, I'm just now discovering a place around here that will make.
Oh, okay,
one.
okay.
I didn't know they existed
There's
until now.
difference.
So,
Okay, because I was I love the Jamocha shakes from Arby's since the 1990s.
Not in Arby's anymore, though.
They're actually pretty decent.
they got
When you
I'm
get-
not disagreeing. I'm just saying there's not one in my area, because around here there's not
okay.
much of nothing.
I see. Perhaps you should move.
I did move. This is the safer place.
Move.
There's
No,
a reason
yeah.
for that.
but
But
just gonna move to Ohio. We have like a million Arby's around here, man.
Yeah,
You're good.
but-
We got you.
But for a standard milkshake, I'm always down for like a strawberry. I love strawberry. That's my favorite flavor on pretty much anything. I'm kind of pissed off because one of the one gas station in Blair, Nebraska, the soda machines, the fountains have the flavor blast things. They've been out of the strawberry flavoring for quite a while, because I love putting that in the diet Mountain Dew, and it's just extra juicier. But I'm not a fan of the strawberry flavoring. I'm not a fan of the cherry straw flavoring. But
Did you wheeze the juice?
yeah,
Please send the juice,
juice.
buddy.
Yeah.
Let me some Polly Shore.
Stop wheezing the juice.
So the reason why I ask is because I've been on this lifelong quest to find the perfect milkshake, or what I believe is the perfect milkshake. And I believe I've already found the perfect milkshake, because I don't think anything can stack up. So what I'm really looking for is one that can actually beat the one that I think is the perfect milkshake. When I was in college, on Sundays from 10 to 5, I used to work in the student union at the info booth answering phone. And the info booth was located right next to the sweet shop, which was ice creamery. Kind of, you think of like Cold Stone Creamery or Janie's or anything like that. So the women that worked in the sweet shop, they would pass by the info booth whenever they would go out to take their smoke breaks, and they would always stop and ask me what I want. And I asked for a milkshake, chocolate milkshake, just regular milkshake. And they're like, okay, do you want anything on it? I'm like, well, what do you got? And then they list off these ingredients, and one of them was pineapple. And I went, okay, I'll take a chocolate shake with pineapple. Do you want anything with it? Whipped cream, sprinkles, cherry, anything like that? I'm like, surprise me. So she brings me out this fat motherfucking milkshake. And like it was like thick to perfection with pineapple chunks and whipped cream. And I swear to God, it was the best milkshake I've ever had. And I started ordering that just specifically from then on. And ever since then, I've been on this quest to find the perfect milkshake. It has to be chocolate and pineapple, and it has to be just the right thickness. And I've come close a couple of times, but I don't think anything could ever really match up to what I used to get from the sweet shop. And I wonder if it's mostly because of nostalgia or because they were just that good.
A combination of both.
Perhaps they used real ice cream scoops instead of...
Yeah, they did. I mean, they would literally scoop the ice cream out of the carton and then put it into the blender and mix everything together. It was beautiful.
What my UDF does too. But the thing, like the key to that, like even with the milkshake I like, is I also have them put a little bit of malt, the malt powder in there, so it thickens it up a little bit more than just a regular milkshake. Because that thickness in a milkshake, you don't want it so thick you can't suck it through the straw, but like the UDF straws are like that big around. They're huge, like they're like really like wide straws, so you can suck about anything through their straw. But that's Cartman.
Yeah.
Like the thickness is important because if it's just like water or just if it's just milk coming out, then it's not really it's not a milkshake. But like I'll put pineapples on a lot of things, including pizza. But I just never thought to put them in a milkshake before. I might try that.
Try it. I think it's worth it. I went to Steak and Shake once. In fact, this has happened a couple of times. And
they've gone downhill, man.
I don't understand. Yeah, they have now. Now the Steak and Shakes that I've gone into, they don't even have really employees anymore. You have to go to a kiosk to order, and then they just bring your food. Or,
and then their milkshakes are all watery and shit. Because we just got one from there the other day, and I was like, "This isn't even how they used to taste, man."
But I used to go to Steak and Shake like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was a waiter that worked there. His name was Theo. Theo was on the ball, man. So he asked me what I want. I said, "Can you make me a chocolate and pineapple milkshake?" He goes, "Yeah, I got you." And then he would make me chocolate and pineapple milkshake. And it was great. Not as good as Sweet Shop, but it's one of the best that I've had in my search. And I've gone to other Steak and Shakes, or even that same Steak and Shake during the day when Theo wasn't working. I said, "Can you make me a chocolate and pineapple milkshake?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't do that." I'm like, "Well, why not?"
The customer is always right, you son of a bitch.
That. Okay, so you can make a chocolate and a banana shake and put them side by side, but you can't put pineapple into chocolate ice cream. Do you have chocolate ice cream? Yes. Do you have pineapple? Yes. Can you mix them? We don't do that.
I have a similar complaint with Wendy's. Since literally my freshman year of high school, when I go to Wendy's, I get a junior bacon cheeseburger with only ketchup and honey mustard. You got to mix the honey mustard with the ketchup. It's fucking delicious. That's it. That's all I get. And the last year, suddenly places are going, "We can't do that. We don't." I was like, "You do have honey mustard, motherfucker. They're in those little containers you give out, with the nuggets. You got them. All you gotta do is open one up and just, oh, well, we'll give you the containers if you want them. You can have some to do it yourself." And I'm like, "You guys have been making this for me for like damn near 25 years. Actually, probably like closer to 30 years of my life. And now you're telling me that you guys don't do that. You've never done that." I'm like, "You're a fucking liar, man." I get so mad about shit like that. I don't like change, man.
I don't like
it. Just doesn't make any sense.
I know.
I don't get
it. You were about to say something, Jenny?
I'm so tired of all the new changes. And some of it's just because when they do get the staff, sometimes don't even train the staff properly because there's no time because there's lack of people, and that's been a problem.
Yeah, they basically just throw them to the wolves now.
And it has sucked being one of the people that didn't get trained and thrown to the wolves.
So what I don't understand is like the McDonald's around this area, they're like the Steak and Shake are kind of moving toward the kiosk in lieu of actual people at cash registers, and that kind of pisses me off. I'm beginning to sound like that old guy because I come in, I am that old guy, right?
I will not help you build no Camino.
Old man yells at clouds, but
right.
But the last time I was in McDonald's was like November, and I went in. They're like, "We can show you how to use the kiosk," and I'm like, "Is there no people that can do this anymore?" That's an odd way to save money by not hiring. And then the Walmart, they spend all this money so that half of the checkouts are self checkouts, and they're closed most of the time now. And I read somewhere online where they're thinking about having you subscribe to, like, you pay money for like a year to use those things in Walmart.
What?
Yeah, I'll have to find it, but yeah,
they're dumb. And ours, that's all that's ever open. Only those checkouts are open because, like, the only register that will ever be open most time in any Walmarts are just the aisle where you can buy cigarettes at. And even then, half the time those are closed, and you have to like hit a button when you're at the self checkout to get one of them to go to the case and get it for you.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare. And the lines are fucking out the door almost, like just people waiting. Not out the door, but opposite direction. People just waiting to use self checkout and fighting over it. And then sometimes they're not staffed. So you have to wait until a manager, one of the few managers on staff, gets alerted that there's a problem, and you're standing there for 20 minutes while people behind you are like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" Because only one of the checkouts in the self checkout is actually working, and that's the one that everybody's waiting.
I actually passed up going to McDonald's the other day because I'm coming home from work. I passed by McDonald's on my way home, and I was like, well, I had all my gym equipment in my bag, so I didn't have a lot of space left in my bag. Otherwise, I probably would have stopped at like Dollar General and picked out some shit for dinner or whatever. But like, I got like $20 in cash. I don't want to use my card. So I thought about it. I was like, well, they do the kiosk now, and I don't think those kiosks take cash. Like, I don't know if I could actually order anything because, like, I'd have to pay in cash, and I can't use the cash at the McDonald's. Like, I don't know what to do. Well, fuck it. I didn't go.
I know. When I tried to use it, they had a selection for cash, but I kept waiting and waiting. And they brought my food out, and I'm like, "You gonna have me pay for it?" And they just assumed I used my card, and they're like, what was the card number? I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I selected cash. And there's nothing here that allows me to put cash in. Like at Walmart, at least at the self-checkout, they have the thing to put the bills and the coins in.
Yeah.
This one at McDonald's does not have that. So that's just...
I feel like these companies have not seen Good Burger 2.
No.
Well, you know what happens when automation goes wrong. But I mean, at least with Good Burger, we had a mechanical edge, so you felt like you were interacting with something. But these people are just like, yeah.
And then when you go through the drive-through, the robot asks you, "So are you using our app?" Just go to your app, and I'm like, "I don't have your fucking app."
Okay. What? How do you spell that?
And the reason why I don't go to McDonald's anymore,
if I had your app, I wouldn't be here at the damn store ordering the food.
Right. If the reason why, the main reason is because their ice cream cones are now like $2.50 each for that small. It hasn't, and their breakfast burritos are $3 each. They're not worth the $3.
No,
they were great when they were just $1 each. I
And
remember
my friend,
that.
let's talk about their drinks. Even when they lower them to $1 for summertime, they
Uh,
are still at best half the size they were in the 90s. Half the size.
yes.
And like I feel like my grandpa telling me, man, I could have got a plate 10 times the size for breakfast here, 20, 30 years ago for only 50 cents. And I'm like, yeah, right. And here I am living the
Okay.
same damn thing.
All right, here's a perfect example for you.
I can't see it. You're holding nothing, sir.
You're holding a void.
It's like
I know.
Mountain
Right.
Dew. This is
There you
Mountain
go.
Dew. This is a 1
Because
liter
it blends
though.
into the background. Anyway, it's a 16-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew, which costs the same price as what the 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew did back in the 90s.
Well, the 20-ounce bottles that we have here, for just $1 more, I can get the 2 liters.
Yeah. Sometimes even with like
So-
these 1 liters, half the time, 99 cents at like Family Dollar and places like that. They will sell these.
Yeah,
Or like
89 cents for a 2 liter.
exactly.
Mhm.
And it's nuts. It's nuts, man.
I feel like I should just keep one of these 16-ounce bottles and then just buy a whole bunch of 2 liters and just keep refilling the bottle.
No, fuck that. Here's how you save even more money. Get yourself a soda fountain in your house and actually get the syrup, the bags in the box with the CO2 tanks, and no shit. Fill your bottles up with that because over time you will save 10 times the amount of money.
Mhm.
It's because you can just rent the little soda machines. Like you can rent them. You don't even have to buy them. I've thought about that for real because I drink so much damn Mountain Dew. And I know I worked so many places that had to hook up the bag in a box. So like, once you've done it a million times, you're never going to forget how to do it.
I've done it when I worked fast food jobs.
You'll end up being one of those guys who has like the old school gumball machines in your house.
No, we got those in the haunt, and my nephew made the mistake not the other day, a couple months ago. It's like, oh, I really want a gumball. I was like, Evan, you don't want to go, but there's gumballs. And I'm like, all right, you're going to learn an important lesson today. Why? I was like, go ahead, Evan. Puts quarter in, gets a gumball, puts it in his mouth, and just makes this face. I'm like, rule number one. Rule number one is those gumballs came in the machine when we bought it. Rule number two, don't use the gumball machine in the men's bathroom. Yeah, we have not replaced those gumballs. I mean, maybe he did at some point. I just don't know about it. But to my knowledge, that's more of a prop than it is supposed to be you putting money in for gumballs. Like, I don't even know if he knows there's money in that thing. They're petrified fucking gumballs. It's a cool prop in the bathroom, but like...
I don't know what's scarier, the date or that they're in the men's restroom.
Right? Why would you have a gumball machine in the men's restroom? I mean, a condom machine, okay, I get it. It makes sense. But
I mean, it's a haunt, and it was just some random cool prop to put in there with all the other decorations and cool shit we have in the bathroom to spruce it up to make it look cooler.
Do you remember? You remember those machines that had like the little like prizes in the plastic egg things, and they had the chicken on top that you put in the quarter,
That's
and
what we need.
it just and boom. That was awesome.
Replace it with a clown head. It just but still makes the chicken sounds, the same chicken sounds, because it would be fun.
The one that was in Piqua got bought, purchased, and moved. It is over in a gas station off of 127, over by St. Henry.
Nice.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Those things are awesome. I remember like back when there would be these little areas at like rest stops and all kinds of places, there were all these little automated machines with like animals dressed as like people like playing music or shooting basketball or other weird shit like that. It's bigger down in the South, but like even in Ohio, we had them at some of the rest stops. Like there would be like sections of like strip malls that would be like when this little area you just walked into, it's just wall to wall with these little old school mechanical devices with animals. And they were usually squirrels. Like a lot of times they were fucking squirrels for some reason.
It sounds like Emmett Otter's Jug something band. What the fuck was it called?
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it now.
There ain't
I might have
no
until
hole in the
then.
wash tub.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm
It's
hearing
a
him singing
Jughead
clowns and
band, like
boxes.
freaking Archie or comics or something. The Jughead band. I don't know.
That's awesome. Did you hear they completely gutted the Country Bears show in Disney? In Orlando?
Why?
It's completely.
I guess because it was just freaking old. That thing was, there when I was a kid.
Well, they've been redoing a lot of their. When we were there a couple of years ago, they had already started ripping out Splash Mountain to replace it with something else. Like, it just a lot of the river tons over there. They're completely redesigning so much of it that they're just gutting it a lot.
No, they're going to
a lot
replace it with animatronics that have kids buried inside them.
I mean, they'd be better off because Universal's overtaking them down in Florida because Universal just bought another property that Disney was fighting for and pissed Disney off. And now they're opening another theme park down there. So you've got Islands of Adventure, you've got the regular Universal, and the new one has, again, it's like Islands of Adventure. It's got different worlds, but they're actually putting a giant section of it that's just Universal Monsters. One is just Nintendo. They're doing DreamWorks section. Like it looks like just the Universal Monster one looks fucking brilliant because you can see a lot of the construction stuff online. So like Universal's killing them because you go to Disney, it's a nightmare. I don't care if it's a nasty day where no one would even be outside. You're waiting like 4 hours for the fucking Jungle Cruise, which by the way is one of the two best rides at the fucking park because Jungle Cruise is amazing, and it's just
Space
kids
Mountain
screaming.
being the other.
No, Haunted Mansion being the other. Space Mountain, I'd say, is a solid third though. But like it's just kids and parents fucking screaming at each other for hours, and it's not fun. No smoking sections. If you smoke even a couple inches away from a smoking zone out front, they're on top of you yelling at you. Like it's insane. But you go over to Universal and it's chill. Everybody's having a good time. Like lines are not very long, so even on a halfway decent day off season, I think we rode the Star Wars Adventure ride there probably like I think 5 or 6 times that day in the space of like 2 hours. Just randomly going by and again, going, hey, look, no line, and just going right back in the building. Like it's a ghost town. There's enough people there to fill the parks and make a lot of money, but it's just they're smarter about it, so it's easier to have a good time.
I think the cost of Disney has kind of gotten a little bit ridiculous when you have to spend several $1,000s to take a family of 4 to the park for one day.
And then you can go on
That's
Groupon
not
right
including
now.
the hotel and the gas and the food and everything.
It's
that's
between
just to get in the park and spending
for one
money
park.
Around.
That's no park hopping. That's only one park for 1 day period. You go on Groupon right now for about $250. You get 4 days with an extra bonus 2 or 3 days for free with hopping through all the Universal parks as much as you want. Like they do these deals all the time. So for one person to go to Disney 2 days, your whole family can go to Universal for like 5-6 days. It's insane. And they're gutting out all the Marvel stuff too.
But I don't think I could afford to ever go back there.
I mean, we got deals, thankfully, but even with the deals that we found, which were good deals, we still spent double the time at Universal for less, like way less money, and had more fun. Because you could breathe.
I've never been to Universal, so I wouldn't know. Go ahead, James.
The Universal Monsters theme park would be the only reason why I would step foot in Florida.
Dude, I only stepped foot in Florida a lot because my ex-wife, her family lived in Florida. So anytime I could take a vacation. So let's go see my family. I'm like, okay. But then I get to go to Disney and Universal some. I only went back to Disney, period. Because I swear I'd never go back again because Brooke had never been there. And, I'd take the daughter to Disney because, she's got to experience at least once, even though she was almost an adult at the time. But even she agreed. She got over to Universal, was like, this is better. And they actually have a lot of cool shit there.
And I hear their Halloween at the Universal is just off the chain.
They've got Jack.
Yeah. No, their Halloween is amazing. Here's the downside. If you actually like haunted houses, you'll hate it. Here's why. A lot of states that aren't Ohio have this idea that you can put people in a line and have people walk through the haunted house like it's a museum in a line with starting and stopping like a normal line. A lot of theme parks do this, especially outside of Ohio. They're really bad about it. Universal is one of the worst at that. So you're not getting the scares a lot of the times if it's one of the busy haunts, one of the busy outbuildings, but you're just kind of going through as a line and it kills it. But if you love the movie it's based on, you'll then end up loving it again because you'll spend time with these amazing props from the movie and like you'll see how they operate in that part. It makes it cool again. But the shows are great.
I have to admit that I was 10 years old when I went to Disneyland in California, and we immediately went to the Haunted Mansion, and that pretty much killed it for me for pretty much even the fun house at the local county fair. I'm just okay. Ooh.
Yeah, that's no Haunted Mansion, buddy.
Right.
happened when I was a kid too. Like I love dark rides, man. I went on a ton of them, but Haunted Mansion as a kid was like, that's the dark ride. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Just good luck, guys. But there's other cool shit at Universal that honestly I think you might like. Like they have the Jurassic Park section is fucking brilliant. It is so fucking amazing. Like there's a water ride where you almost get eaten by a T-Rex. That's pretty cool. They've got the actual museum that get you like the Welcome Center from Jurassic Park. It's completely reconstructed, so you get to actually go to the Welcome Center just like it is in the movie. And their Transformer section. I'm not a big Transformer guy, but it's really cool. They have lots of really neat shit like that, and they're just always coming up with cool shit. And I'm a Harry Potter guy, so their Harry Potter shit is like spot on the movie. A lot of it is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like even Moaning Myrtle's in the bathroom moaning at you while you're taking a piss. You hear her you're like, fuck it. Like the first time I experienced, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, it's Moaning Myrtle. Okay, we're good.
Pointing and laughing, great.
Probably. But like, I feel like as cool as Disney is, and it is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, Universal's had to always compete with Disney, so they've always found ways to go to that next level, but not cost you $1 million. And plus, if you grew up watching Double Dare, where the top prize was always to go to fucking Universal Studios to see Jaws and King Kong, like that pumped me up already about Universal as a child, well before I even ever got to go to it.
Right.
Those rides aren't there anymore.
That show in forever.
Yeah, I mean those rides there aren't there anymore at the Orlando location, at least. But they still have like the Jaws hanging up. They've got like pieces of some of the old rides that aren't there anymore. But they just do a lot. Like the Beetlejuice review show is pretty cool. I think I'm a better Beetlejuice, but I respect the Beetlejuices they've hired in the past. Even Elvira's done a thing out there before.
That's
been a
awesome.
bit. But Elvira also did a thing at Kings Island, which is the local amusement park over where I live.
Well, she used to host Not Scary Farm every year too.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about theme parks, but yeah, it's great. And then we got the biggest merger in theme park history happening, and it's official this year. Everything Cedar Fairs, which is like all the King's Dominions and King's this and that, Kings Island where I live, Cedar Point, which is like the hub of roller coasters of the world. It's also in Ohio. Just joined with everything from Six Flags. So now, like even my home place is going to get access back to like Warner Brothers stuff and like DC characters and stuff. And like that's like the biggest innovation for roller coasters in the world are those two companies. As far as America goes, right. But all the really awesome record-breaking shit from other countries always ends up at Cedar Park or Cedar Fair. Nope. Yeah, Cedar Park, whatever it's called. It's awesome.
Cedar Point.
Cedar Point. Thank you. Thank you.
You said it so many times.
I said everything but Point. Yeah. I like theme parks. I'm old and broken, and they hurt me way more, but they're still fun sometimes.
When Paramount was pulling out, they didn't know what they were going to do.
Fuck them.
And
we had a museum to Paramount where you could hang out and like get pictures with the Wayne's World car that had the licorice dispenser in it and everything.
Yeah.
And they took it away. I cried the day they loaded that thing up onto a trailer and took it away.
Like they had Red October, one of the prop submarines that they used.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck it there. The cage from the Golden Child was there.
Statues from Addams Family were there.
The Vulture one.
Yep. The Vulture statues. Yep. They had the coolest shit there. That it was the whole center of the park was just the Paramount Museum, and they gutted it. Because Paramount, and not only did they end up leaving a lot of shit there, and I found out as recently even as this past season, last year, they still have stashes of old merchandise and staff shirts just in giant boxes in different warehouses and stuff on the property, just sitting there doing nothing.
Right.
We had Paramount Carowinds in Charlotte, North Carolina, back when I lived there. I mean, I guess it's still there. I don't know if it's still Paramount, but Carowinds.
Oh, no. Paramount exited everything because Carowinds was also part of that whole park deal.
Yep.
But no, they exited the entire amusement park business all literally in one go. They just, it's not doing it for us. We're not Disney. Peace. And they just dumped all of it.
When they did that, Cedar Fairs seen what they had, and they said, you know what? We want to buy this. So they bought all the parks and turned them into Cedar Fairs, but did not change the names. They didn't want to change any of the names. Now Six Flags is
still
coming
not.
and merging.
I turned to
But
find out
they
they're not
wanna-
going to change them. They're just going to add the flag logo to the bottom of the name. That's it. Which is cool.
So that it's not going to be Six Flags Kings Island.
Nope, it's going to be it's just going to be Kings Island, but you're going to actually see the Cedar Fair flags underneath the bottom of the logo. That's the logos that I've seen already.
Okay, because when Cedar Fair took it over, they didn't say nothing about taking it over until
that's what it is.
Until all of a sudden you seen any I in anything was a flag. And
the
then
I.
we realized that was Cedar Fair's flag. Six Flags is
yes, that's the
now
Six Flags. You'll get it's part of the logo built in underneath, like the
right
underneath the font is like a
I'll have to do some more reading on this. That piques my curiosity.
If you get a platinum, you get a platinum card, like one of their platinum passes. If you get a platinum pass,
not
you
anymore.
Can go in.
Now you can get the gold pass and pay even less and just get an all park add-on. They just started that this season.
Oh,
yeah, so it's even cheaper now.
Because last year towards the end, they were platinums.
Yep. Now you just get the regular gold pass, man, and you pay it's less than the entry to a park for one day. But if you add that on and then add another 50 onto your 40 or 50 onto your food pass, now anywhere that has a theme park, anywhere in both that combined company, anywhere in the world, I can just go there and get 2 free meals a day and ride their rides and do nothing. So if I literally go on vacations in places that happen to have one of these theme parks, I can literally just let them take care of all my food for the vacation. Literally, I will just go to the theme park for the food and leave. We went to Kings Island so many times last year that there were times we lived 25, 30 minutes away. We just go eat.
Raz, you barely leave your basement. I can't imagine you taking a vacation and actually out around people.
Oh no, I don't mind it there because it's I've been going there since the 80s, religiously. So to me, that's if I'm in some place where I feel like I'm home or it's an old stomping ground, I'm okay. And I like to get out and walk when my health allows it. And going to the theme park and just doing a lot of walking, there was stuff to look at. There was stuff to do. And on those days, I don't even drink Mountain Dew. You would not even recognize me, man. I go there. I only drink healthy stuff. I'll drink water. I'll drink some light sugared lemonade, things like that. And I'll walk all fucking day. And I'll hurt, but I love it.
Well, I've been to Kings Island. I've never been to the Cedar Point, so that's kind of next on my bucket list to do that one.
We gotta do this year, man. Because once things settle down, we're hoping to get the platinum thing so we can go both. Because the kids have never been to Cedar. I don't even know if Michelle's ever been to Cedar Point. Her headset's on too.
Well, let me know when you go.
I will, man, for sure.
I mean, you have to pass by Columbus and get there anyway. So
yeah. Kinda.
You will pass by Columbus.
Pass by Cleveland and Toledo. Stuff like that.
Has anybody heard of Lake Winnepesaukah?
I actually have. Because Michelle told me about it.
That is the only one I've ever been to.
Well, there's other people that don't know about it. Tell us about it.
Lake Winnepesaukah is the water park over there in the Chattanooga area. Last time I went, they had this train that you could ride around the whole entire theme park. And I loved doing that when I was younger because I loved looking at everything. They had a big pirate ship that would do the swing thing. Of course, the egg beater ride and a whole bunch of other slides and stuff. Well, yeah, it changes what state you're in too. The name of this ride.
It does. We have both of those, the ship and the scrambler at Kings Island still.
Yep.
And then I think the one that my dad liked most was he's this big 300-pound, 7'5" man. And the spinny thing where it spins so much that you lift up off the ground, the fact that something could do that with him, it made him so happy. That was his favorite ride.
Was it the inside one or the outside one?
Or are you just exaggerating?
Say what?
Is he really 7'5", or are you just exaggerating?
They got a custom coffin?
No, he was a big guy. big guy.
They had to get a custom coffin and custom clothes made because Walmart didn't have anything. But yeah.
Was it the
And
inside spin ride that you like lifted up,
Yeah.
or was it the outside one?
it was the one where you're inside against the wall.
Yeah.
Gravitron?
Yeah, Gravitron.
That thing.
So it was
I
like
love
Gravitron or Roundup? Which one are we going with here?
the
Name or a
boats
different
where
name.
you go down the slide. This big water slide were amazing. Just sliding down the slides were amazing. So many things. It's
Well,
yes.
It's awesome.
I was just. It reminds me of there used to be a theme park here called Peony Park in Omaha, and this was, mostly in the 80s and very early 90s before it shut down. I would go there as a teenager with like church groups and everything, and they had a ride there called the Black Hole, which was essentially the scrambler inside a building, and they had the various like black lights and the strobes and everything. And the first time I got on it, the person who was running it, he would play like Ministry, Nine Inch Nails,
Hell yeah,
Skinny Puppy, all that fun stuff while the ride was going. It was great. And then the year later, they got somebody different who played the pop musics. So we had like suddenly there's Paula Abdul playing, and it wasn't the same.
No.
the opposites are not
Yeah, the
attracting me to
same
your ride.
feel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think one of my favorite moments of Kings Island, they have this legendary, like world famous roller coaster called the Beast there, and the coolest thing about the Beast is there's this thing called the Night Ride. What you do is you basically just talk to the guy running, like the guy out front that measures people to make sure they're tall enough, and get permission to stand off to the side. And if you get a cool person running that and you're nice to them, they'll let you just wait, and they'll say, "Okay, get in line now." That is your cue to know that you will be the very last ride of the night. Here's why this is important. The night ride is very different because it's so dark, and a big chunk of this roller coaster goes through the fucking woods where you can't see fucking anything. You cannot even see the car in front of you. It does not matter whether you're front, back, middle, it does not matter. You can see nothing but darkness, some of the track, and a little bit of the woods around you. That's it.
Oh, wow.
The night ride, it's different now, but it used to be the last ride, the night ride, would happen right as the fireworks were about to go off. But it's a wooden track, so there's safety issues. So they would stop you at the top of the hill back in the day, the top of the first drop hill, and you'd watch the fireworks. And the second they were done, you'd zoom down. Well, now they stop the ride. They let her for the fireworks. Then they'll let everybody ride after, but you can still do the night ride, and it's still awesome. But back then, what we would do is we would always bring a joint. And this fireworks show is a good 10, 15 minutes long. You'd be sitting in this car, like on this roller coaster, waiting to go down the hill, and you would just spark up a joint with your friends. Got to make sure, you and your friends were the ones on the rides. Because a lot of people didn't stay that late back then. And you just pop out your joint, and you'd all pass it around to the cars behind you. You have a good time and just get high and watch the fireworks. But the second the last thing exploded, it was like gravity just resumed life, and you were shooting down to these screaming tunnels. And the tunnels you go through sounds like a monster screaming at you, because it's just this deep vibrato they get with the echo in the tunnels and the metal on metal. And that's why they call it the Beast, because it sounds like there's a beast in the woods that's like hunting you down while you're on the roller coaster. And it's creepy as fuck. And it's not even a horror themed roller coaster. Not really. It's just that fucking creepy. There are actually books written about it. I think even R.L. Stein wrote some books, or somebody like that wrote some books called The Beast. But like Ghost Hunters even did a thing over there. It's about a graveyard, but they actually rode the Beast and talked about how nuts it was. But it's the coolest experience ever you can ever have on a roller coaster if you're into woods. If you're into woods and creepy shit, it's fucking weird, man. But yeah, you can still get high on it.
Ride the Beast, but I think they've changed the name a couple of times. I don't know if it's still called the Beast.
It's never been anything but the Beast. That's one of the
It's
ones
still
that
the Beast.
never changed.
Still the Beast.
A lot of
They
a lot
had-
of everything else changed though, because the Paramount when they stopped owning it.
They had the Son of the Beast. Unfortunately,
Shut down.
that killed people. That shut down.
I was
And
one of
then
the
they
last
had-
riders on the loop. It actually was a wooden roller coaster that had an upside down loop. And the
Yep.
year they premiered it was during a haunt season, and I was one of the last groups of people that ever got to ride it. And I'm glad they took it down. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced.
Oh yeah. You also had the Beastie, which was the kids roller coaster back
Still there.
in Hanna-Barbera land.
Mm-hmm. It's still there, just a different name. Because I made
Right.
Matt ride it this past summer.
Raven rode the nice soft one, but she wants to go on the big one now, and she figured out how to use the bumper cars this year.
Oh,
So
I
she
love
beat
me
the
bumper
hell
cars.
out of other children, giggling and laughing. She would go straight forward. It would be like the Jaws hunt. Dun, 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 dun. Smack them, and the other kid, and she'd be like,
I'm that one person you see somehow navigate all the collisions and just keep driving circles around the outside of the whole thing without getting hit. Sometimes I don't care. I'll just hit people. And we have a game where we do a couples game where me and Michelle's in one car and Brooke and Matt are in a different car. And usually I have a hat on and Matt's got a hat on. So the game is whoever the passenger is has to grab the hat off the person in the other car. And we just keep doing it to each other. And then other kids will notice that we're doing it and they'll do it to people that aren't playing the game and then they'll get in trouble. That part's kind of funny.
Well, I can imagine you saying to your kid, "Okay, now what do you say?" And your kid saying back, "Time to die."
My kid's an adult. She would definitely say that.
She figured it out. My daughter, she's already figured it out. She goes
she
and
definitely would.
when the situation comes to it, she's like, "I'm sorry," and then she goes and she gets off and she goes, "Did you see what I did to that kid?
I knocked him out of the bumper car, Dad."
Got the hay,
yeah. Well, she looked at me and goes, "Dad, I want to go on these things up here." I said, "Okay." So here it is, like one of the hottest days, and we're in these freaking helicopter things.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm like in it going, huh? And I looked at him, I said, "So how big of a boy can you have?" And the person said, "We've had bigger guys than you on it, and
It's
trust
surprisingly
me,
spacious.
it's still good."
Like, okay, this ride, you're like 40, 50 feet off the ground going across the track. You're in a fake helicopter. It's like a Snoopy thing. But like to get the ride to go, like there's pedals down at your feet. So you're basically pedaling the car around the track. And I thought like it would be like, maybe like, I don't know. I got some dumb because we went this summer and they're like, Brooklyn was like, "I think it's air conditioned." I'm like, there's no way they air condition these fucking ride cars. There's no way. Oh yeah, they are. They're really cool in there. It's nice and comfortable. We get in there. And it was like the hottest day of the year, and I about died. I got out of that helicopter. I looked at her, and I was like, "Dude, I'm down with riding Kittyland rides, but like, I swear to God, if you ever get me in something like that, and tell me it's air conditioned again, and it's not, I'm going to kill you." And then me and Matt saw this ride called the Linus's Blanket. What it is?
Where was this at?
It's Kings Island in the kids section. So this ride, you lay on your stomach on this metal. Looks like a medical stretcher, but that's also a cage that surrounds you when you lay down. This thing is not made for people over like 5.5 feet. And here I am almost 6 foot. Here's Matt like 6'3". So we get up there and we notice that there is a weight limit. It's like 300 pounds. This weight limit.
Oh, is it like Aladdin's flying carpet thing?
Worse.
Okay.
It's worse. And we look at the ride operator, this kid, this teenage kid, and we're like, "Hey, I mean, are we going to fit?" And he looks at us. He looks at the weight limit. He's like, "Oh, yeah, the ride's big enough." And we're like, "Listen to me. We're not worried about the ride. We're worried about if we're too big for the ride, not the other way around. There's a weight limit." You guys will probably be okay. And then he seats us side by side on the same fucking thing that's got like a 350-pound weight limit. And me and Matt are not small. So this thing goes up and down, and at one point in time, me and Matt start hearing it creaking, and Matt is so tall. His feet are almost resting against the face of the poor kid behind us because it's not made for someone this tall. And this dumbass kid seated a child behind his feet. So we're going in here, and we're looking at each other like, and you're only going up like maybe 20, 25 feet. You fall, you hit the cage, we're not going to get crushed. But the impact of that could literally break our spines. Like, no joke. It's a tight fit. And the last one, suddenly we go to go up, and you just hear, and the thing goes down, and we're like 5 feet over the ground just hovering, while everyone else in their cars are just going up and down. And there's parents over there like dying laughing, like they didn't even think we'd get on this thing. And I get off this ride, And Matt, I mean, we had to help each other out. Like, it was bad. Like, we could barely get out of the ride. And we get out and we look at each other and we look at the parents, and the parents just start cheering, like, and just clapping and like pointing us. And we're just like, never again. And then later that day, we walked back over there because I wanted to see if they'd fixed the ride yet. And that one little car, still only hovering 5 feet off the ground hours later when all the other ones are going up and down. And that same kid is running the ride. And I look at him and I go in line like I'm going to ride it again, but I'm not. And he gets real nervous and looks at me, his eyes are all wide. I'm like, the next time someone asks you, tell them no. And I just walked away. No, we torture each other. Like, if you do something stupid, we're going to go to King's Island and make you ride the Linus blanket. There was no comfort and security in that ride whatsoever. Sued them for false advertising.
Raven enjoyed that ride.
I could see how, to someone small, it would be very fun and enjoyable. But no, that was torture. My back, I think, still hurts from that ride almost a year ago. Like, I think I have PTSD over the Linus blanket. That's what it is. Like, at this point in time, I just see the sign and I'm just like, fuck no, get me out of Kitty Land. I can't do it. I'll ride all the other kid rides. Just, no, I'm not going to do it.
So I sent Jenny a picture of the ride with Raven in it. No, you're fine.
I'm not even signed into me because I got a message on my other profile.
I sent this picture to her, and I thought she was smiling and laughing because she's seen the picture now. But apparently that's not the case.
No, I'm smiling because I'm listening.
Trust me. You see the picture, and you know how big Raven is. Imagine Raz.
And Matt, who's bigger than me.
Yeah. You got no. In fact, I was standing in line with Raven, and the person looks at me and goes, "Sir, no." I said,
"Why didn't they do that to us? They could have saved us. Like, they could have saved like so much like mental anguish and like." Yep, that's the ride. I mean, not wrong. That's the ride.
Oh wow.
Yep. And they let us ride it. Because we made a promise that we would ride every fucking ride at the park, and it was time to do that one. And the girls were not with us at the park that day. It was just the two of us on one of our guy dates, and we did it.
I'm still trying to recall a comic where Linus would actually ride his blanket like that.
Same. And that's why he didn't. Because he would have had emotional damage too. But let's not forget the most mentally devastating ride of any theme park in the history of time, and this is actually on record. You can read about this. It was the Smurfs ride. That was before Pyle's time, down at Kings Island, and it was a water ride on a boat. You can see video footage of this on YouTube. That was
inside.
It was an inside ride where you were on a boat in water.
Yeah,
the whole time is just that.
World at
right?
Disney World.
No. This is why it's devastating, though, because you went from them all being happy and fun to suddenly it's a horror dark ride with Gargamel trapping and murdering fucking Smurfs, and he's carved on this like old wood that's like terribly carved, and so it's fucking terrifying. And next thing you know, everything's dark and there's lightning everywhere, and then all of a sudden, like, it's over. But like you start doing, the Smurfs are just doing these awkward things in different environments. Like there's one stuck and clearly suffocating in the snow, but they're still singing and laughing about it, like, and they're all carved so oddly that like it's someone's nightmare version of the Smurfs. That they actually had this ride for years. They replaced it with a dark ride called Phantom Theater for a while, which was brilliant and has its own live show now. But like that Smurfs ride, like every child and adult that rode that ride is still scarred to this day. And there's a whole ride through of it on YouTube. You'll man.
I'd like to
even
see
just
that.
watching the video is enough.
Can we link that?
I'll find it and link it. Well, I never know how to link things properly.
Because all you're doing is making me want to actually ride that.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, you feel like you're on it. And it's the cool thing is the person that did the footage. It's an old shoulder fucking VHS style camera too. So you really feel like you're being transported back in time.
Wow.
Let's see. Smurfs Ride Kings Island from 1988.
How old was I? 16.
Actually, you know what? This is only. Let's see. I'll find a better one. Give me a minute to find a better one, and I'll stream share because it's only like the video's only like going to be a couple minutes long. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm feeling verklempt.
So, favorite Smurfs episode, Jenny.
The movie where they're trying to explain what Smurf means to a human.
Boy, they really smurfed that one up.
My favorite episode is the one where they're getting bitten by a gnat, and they turn into the undead, and Papa Smurf has to try to figure out how to cure them. Like they would get bit, and they would just turn a different color and just start going gnat, gnat, and then if they bit somebody else, they would turn into gnat, gnat, and wackiness ensues.
So
Exactly.
I
Tell you what, Papa Smurf was like the drugstore. He could whip up any prescription you needed.
He was like East End alchemist, and he was a pimp. You know, only one female Smurf, which was there by accident. Yeah, okay, I got it. It's only like a little over 3 minutes long, so it's not long. But we're gonna leave our audio on so we can like do commentary over it because that just sounds fun to do commentary over like weird amusement park rides for some reason.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Let's do that then.
Let me do the thing where I share the screen. The Smurfs Enchanted Voyage. And this was for the 50th anniversary. They put this video up, which was just like I want to say 2 years ago was the 50th anniversary of the theme park. This was not even one of the original rides, but it was one of the main rides.
Well, the Hanna-Barbera ones.
Oh yeah.
I miss Scooby.
Me too.
Let me see if I can. You guys see that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that carving job.
Okay.
This may not seem as devastating as it was in person. No, I mean it still looks fucking weird as shit though. With like the carving, it's just bad.
Is this split screen?
No, this was what the lighting actually legitimately almost looked like too, despite the.
Well, this is one side and this is another side.
Yeah, because it's a two-sided ride. Like you had to look on both sides to see everything.
Okay.
La 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 la. Oh God! God no!
Like one side would see stuff, the other side would be dark, and it would switch. And it's weird, but like we haven't got to like the creepy shit yet. It's a little bit off-putting the way it looks, but it does get terrifying. I promise. Right now, it's just Smurf people doing Smurf shit.
Am I Smurfy enough for the Smurf Club?
I don't know. Ask Gargamel here in a few minutes when you see him again.
There's Smurfette right there.
Yep. Folding laundry. What the fuck shit is that? Why does Smurfette gotta be the one that folds the laundry? Sand. Uh-oh.
Who knows?
Music's changing. It's gonna get weird. That's like Cannibal Smurf over there in the corner. There's a Smurf actually in that pot that's cooking on the fire, by the way. That the other Smurfs are standing around. It's Smurf cannibalism. And then that.
Okay.
I don't know why there's Smurf cannibalism, but there was. And again, you're in the water. There's nowhere to go. You're just stuck here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is like the Smurf torture part of the ride now.
Oh,
but now
wow.
you can't tell if they're happy or not. Like you can't tell if they're laughing a little bit, but like there's still weird shit in the happy shit, like mixed in the background. And there's no resolution. And that box was chained, so it was trapped in the picnic basket for some reason. There was actually a Smurf trapped under that one's bed at one point. And that's the ride. And then it's just over from there. Then it's Christmas, and then it's over.
Okay.
Okay.
Reynolds here. Big wireless.
Hi,
I'm
Ryan.
going to turn that off now, obviously.
Can we get him on our show?
And then
He just was.
and then you're showing a mint commercial, and then the ride's over.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, and that was just like what they got. There was a lot more to the ride that like wasn't in there. It was longer than that. It was easily like 3 times the length of that. That's just the best footage they've been able to save from it. But that only caught some of the weird, creepy moments. Like the Cannibal Smurf thing was always one that really fucking freaked me out a little bit. Like there was more scenes of like Smurfs on the torture rack and all kinds of stuff like that. They were a little bit more detailed than you'd like them to be for Smurfs.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, when you're that young, you don't really think about it. It's the fact that there's 100 Smurfs, 99 boys, and 1 female. And
then
no
they
kids.
introduced another female.
Well, you see, Smurfette started off as a construct from Gargamel to infiltrate the Smurf village, and then Papa Smurf turned her good, and that's why they now have a Smurfette.
Yep, and the other one was a Smurf
and then
cousin, technically.
and then the season following that, they introduced the Smurf babies. Where did they come from?
Smurfette.
Actually, no. They came from another village entirely, and they were what was left of that village that had gotten destroyed by a different sorcerer who was also in the show for a very brief amount of time.
Wow.
Because in the traditional Smurf village, it was only the males, but there were female villages, there were other villages. It ties into Swedish culture. There's actually books about the Smurfs that the guy that invented the cartoon wrote that were really super interesting. That actually ties into real lore about Smurfs.
Yeah, and then they introduced like 1 human character named Johan.
Yeah, he was like the page to the night.
Yeah.
That's when things were getting super weird. Oh yeah. But they replaced that ride with a traditional horror dark ride called Phantom Theater, which was like Kings Island's version of Haunted Mansion to some degree. It was like Haunted Mansion meets Phantom of the Opera, because you actually had the villain that was, they called him the Phantom. He had the organ. Like you went inside the line where you waited just to get on the ride, and he was above you, suspended with an organ, just like, and he's a shit talker. He just heckles people and makes fun of you.
Yeah.
And
he would play music.
Yep.
And then he would turn around and he would go, "So, you think you can make it through the theater? Well, we'll just find out."
Yep.
I memorized everything he said when I was little because I went through it so many times. And Mom and Dad's like, "Hey, where are we going to go?" Phantom Theater.
Yep. That's number 1. And it's cool because in the wintertime, they'd open the furnace to let you feel the heat. And you'd do it in wintertime if it was cold, and it was great. Or if you were like just soaked because it was raining, or you went to the water park, you'd go out in Phantom Theater to dry out, because the heat that blasts out of the furnace scene was so strong, it would actually start to dry you out if you were soaked just by like one go through.
So
go ahead, James.
Have we talked about that recent like Willy Wonka experience in England that they tried?
I don't know about it, so let's talk about it.
Okay. So they had a Willy Wonka experience in England that they tried to do, where they advertised it as this big, just mind-blowing experience based on Roald Dahl's beloved classic, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was a bit underwhelming, let's just say, because they held it in an almost empty warehouse, and they had just maybe stand-up props here and there, very sparse, and actors who they didn't have the expressed consent to use the characters from the book or the movies. So Willy Wonka was called something different. They had
Wanker.
Yeah, or something like that. If you look it up on YouTube and see the video, the actors that they hired, they gave them very little information and said, "Okay, go." And God bless them, they tried to make it as memorable for the kids as they could, but in the end, it just fell flat. It just, you would think a candy experience with Willy Wonka, you would get candy, but instead, each kid was given one jelly bean and maybe
An eighth a cup.
An eighth of a cup of lemonade. Ooh.
Like, there's a documentary now about it.
Yes.
Already, and it's called I just saw it a second ago. Glasgow Willy Wonka Experience.
Yeah. This ended up like what my elementary school, rural elementary school, would have put on for Halloween or something.
Well, it sounds like they were giving you communion, a jelly bean, and an eighth
Oh,
of cup
dude.
of lemonade.
This gets really dark, actually, because I'm seeing pictures of this shitty-ass warehouse with the decorations. It's gotten so bad, the guy is trying to process refunds. In the meanwhile, he is now completely broke. And he had called his company that ran the event. He named his company the House of Illuminati. But his significant other has left him over this. His friends have bailed on him. He's getting death threats every day. He says it's ruined his entire life now.
It was
amazing. What kind of budget did he have to do this with, and what happened to all that money?
That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to read more about this, but yeah, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I had no idea about this.
Yeah, try not to be like that.
There's something about the script being written by AI.
I know
the rumor being spread.
I know the posters advertising were made out of AI.
Yeah, they're just the posters.
The posters looked way better than what the reality was.
It was the Gowan Bank Hub helped out with it, which was a nonprofit organization set up during COVID. And a lot of these ideas started during COVID. That's when they started talking about doing it. Mm-hmm. And this guy that was designing it, the House of Illuminati guy, basically just kind of went in there, claimed he could do all these things. And he legitimately, I guess, thought he could pull a lot of these things off. And a lot of other vendors pulled out on him. A lot of prop makers just pulled out and disappeared with his money. All this crazy stuff happened to him. Like, he wasn't trying to put on like the world's worst experience. It was a series of like all the worst things that could happen to an event creator like happened to this guy. And instead of just immediately refunding and not running it, he just ran it anyway.
Series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, it goes deep too, like all like the backstabbing and the betrayals that happened leading up to this. Like, holy shit! Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually watch this.
So it wasn't technically his fault, or maybe some of it was, but not.
A chunk of it had to be. Like
he just happened to be on the wrong end of some other people that took advantage of him, and he still tried to make the best out of a bad situation. Is what it sounds like.
He paid 35 pounds per ticket. Or euros, I guess. Sorry, not pounds.
Yeah, put a link to that too, man.
Because
the article. I mean, I don't know how to put link. How do I just?
Okay,
if I put it in there, it's going to blast it over like every single thing we're streaming to, and I suck at that.
Put it in the private chat, and we can find it there. And if you want, I can put it directly on our Facebook page from there.
That works.
But much like the Fire Festival and several other festivals that have just gone to shit, if you will.
Yeah.
This, I figured, I know some people who are in the, at least in the haunting kind of setup like this. Share that with them and, get their take on it, because Raz and Pyle, I know you guys are far more professional with your setups.
Man, we could grab a group of newbies who could decorate a cardboard box fort better in half an hour than as many years as this thing took to take place. Like, just tell everybody the day of, hey, we're going to do this, and we would just grab props and make shit and just put it up, and it would actually be a million times better than whatever this is, because these pictures are just... And they have a couple really cool looking props. That's the thing. Like, some of their props are actually really cool looking, but there's just one prop sitting in the corner or like in the middle of a space, and you're just like, the rest is just a warehouse. And you're like, okay. I've even seen miniature golf courses better decorated.
I've been to 4-H festivals that were way better.
Hey, Raz.
Nothing near as elaborate as what the sets were in the movie.
Oh, this is so bad. Yeah. What's up, man?
That was decorate worse than the haunted house that I call the Reject. You know which one I'm talking about.
I do.
We won't bring it up on here.
Why?
I don't want to blast him.
Okay.
We try not to talk bad about other haunters. It's bad etiquette.
Kind of tacky. I get it, but
Okay.
I will admit the posters that they used to advertise that Wonka experience. I think I've had those designs on Trapper Keepers back in school.
Oh no, it's over now. I found a picture of one of the Oompa Loompas.
Yes, only they're not called Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. I'm about to put that up right now. Give me just a second. This is an Oompa Loompa next to a chemistry set.
Yes,
one
I've
of their
seen
versions.
that.
Yeah, this one needs to go up now because holy shit.
That bad?
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah, the look on her face.
I know that picture.
Just the look on her face just says it all.
Here you go.
Yeah.
The fuck
that thing
is
in
that?
the robe is an Oompa Loompa.
That's an Oompa Loompa? That looks more like
No,
death.
that's the unknown.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, the other one is the Oompa Loompa, the person in the costume. It's partially blurred out with a. This is all very confusing to me. Whatever this is, like.
What is the unknown? What does it have to do with the movie?
Exactly.
This is entitled as one of their Oompa Loompas. Apparently, according to this, Miss Patterson dresses an Oompa Loompa standing by a chemistry set with fumes billowing out. His letter would be described as the Mad Lab Oompa Loompa lady. So they were billing this person in the cloak as their version of an Oompa Loompa.
Actually, no, that's the unknown who lives in the walls of the factory.
Oh, well, then this article is dumb because they call her an Oompa Loompa. That's why I was looking at it like, what the hell?
There is another one with the fact with that particular person who is right by a chemistry set, and she looks so sad.
Yeah, that's the one that this was supposed to show. That's why I was so confused because the description is on this picture. That's why I was so like, okay, hold on a minute. There is a photo gallery.
Yeah,
let's see if maybe I think they just mislabeled it, hopefully, and I can find that one.
Perhaps.
Yes, they mislabeled it. I found this very, very sad woman. I mean, she's not sad looking. Her features are sad because she's sad about what's going on. And apparently her and others were supposed to have been paid 500 euros for 2 days of work. Instead, they've not been paid anything because they did a lot of other like pre-work before the event. All right, it's loading. Here we go. That's one of our Oompa Loompas.
Okay.
Who did not get paid for her work.
That's why she's sad.
Yep. I'd be sad too.
Oh yeah.
And I will try and grab one more picture of the sets because you guys have just got to see some of this shit. It is
Oompa Loompa, give me my cash.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I have the opening. Let's see.
Or I'm gonna kick you in the ass.
Or I'm going to sue your ass.
Right.
Something about what about Frogman and a wand? All right, this is like I guess like the opening of it that you go through. The very like beginning of the adventure from what a different side that seems to have correctly labeled photos says. There we go. This is the gist of more or less what everything looks like.
No, isn't that Ponylandia? What is it, My Little Pony? Isn't that the entrance to what do they call it in My Little Pony?
You see their gummy bear and their gumdrop. There's like one gumdrop there on the floor, and there's a pipe on the ground. In the back, you see another pipe. This is it, guys. This was like the pinnacle of their invention for this event. Plus, a lot of AI generated posters everywhere.
Come with me, and you'll see a
world
host
devoid
of
of
contractual obligations.
Contractual obligations,
basically. But yeah, he's gotten sued obviously by like everyone that you can be sued by, and still has not paid people wages. But he's so concerned about giving refunds to save his reputation, but he's destroyed his reputation by paying no one for the event. And there was charity money involved here that was supposed to go to charities, but there's no money. But all these charities came out and brought people out and promoted and helped out and everything. He made a lot of mistakes, but other people made mistakes. But at some point in time, as the promoter, you gotta just refund people and cut off the event before you run it, because it's worse if you just run it.
So
And
this
the answer was Canterlot.
Gotcha.
So basically, this would be like a person over in Japan accidentally putting lead paint on a series of toys, sending it over to the United States.
No, because I think lead poisoning would have been more fun.
Yeah.
Hospitals are more interesting than whatever was going on there.
Oh, yeah. At least you have a chance to see John Cena come in.
Yeah.
Well, I was
holy
just
shit.
saying, that this guy's rep and everything is so destroyed that he's probably on suicide watch.
No, he is. He is right now. He in the article. He's talking about it. Every day he's getting death threats and people telling him to kill himself, and he's begging people to leave him alone. That he's trying to process refunds as fast as he can, and that he's actually been considering just committing suicide to end the whole thing. Like that's all. And a big chunk of that's in the article we linked actually.
Gee, criminy.
Yeah, no, and the documentary is even more expansive. So like later, I want to actually watch this documentary because I thought we were going to get some nightmare feel, but instead, what did we get, Pyle?
Emotional damage or utter disaster?
Emotional damage. Depression and emotional damage is all we received from this Wonka experience.
I'm trying to decide if I'm supposed to feel bad for the guy, though.
I honestly just kind of feel bad for everyone involved, the families that had to see it. Like, I think all the way up and down, there's no winner in this situation. There's just no.
Those were jelly bellies that were being handed out. Those are not cheap.
No, that's true. That's true. Those are not cheap. So maybe Jelly Belly made out okay.
Maybe that's what some of the nonprofits were donating.
Jelly Belly, yeah.
I have no idea what kind of brand they were using. It's probably like the Brocs that come in the cellophane baggy.
Jelly babies are really big there.
Oh yeah.
Huge, so huge they were featured in a whole doctor from Doctor Who did nothing but have them in his pocket and eat them all the fucking time and hand them to people. So,
Jelly baby.
Yep. Oh shit! No, that was. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'm gonna be thinking that. I'm gonna be thinking about like how that can go wrong for a horror story here soon.
Oh yeah.
It's sad because I just saw Wonka a couple weeks back or a month back or whatever, and I fucking absolutely love it. It's one of my new favorite things.
Oh yeah.
And then to hear about this, it's just like. Maybe that's what happened between this one and the one we grew up. Sheeran under depression, and that's why he became the Gene Wilder version because of that. That was the missing link between the movies, apparently.
So we're all on board that Gene Wilder is the best Willy Wonka.
Well, I mean, they're the same. They're him and Timothy Wilmet are the same Willy Wonka, actually.
I know, but I'm talking about like Johnny Depp.
Listen, I like Depp for a lot of things, and I didn't have a problem with him. I had a problem with the writing and the setup of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, it was the writing that they did. Like they made him way too overly creepy childlike, which I thought would be kind of neat until you watch it for 2 hours and it gets old. It's just like I buy him as the character. I'm fully sold on his acting job, but the writing was just not. I didn't dig it as much.
The Johnny Depp Willy Wonka really kind of reminds me of Mr. Teatame from Hogfather.
Yeah.
Same.
You also have to understand that the movie we got was not the movie that Johnny Depp signed up for. One of his best friends was producing that film and was in it. Marilyn Manson was one of the original people to try and get that whole movie off the ground. He was going to be playing Slugsworth, actually. And his version of the boat scene song that's from Portrait of an American Family was going to be used during the boat scene. This was a big deal. And a lot of things happened. There were some lawsuits. Some things just didn't go the way it was supposed to be. So Manson exited, along with Burton. Burton stayed, Manson exited, other people joined on to produce and stuff. And a lot of the script and a lot of the things just changed. But, Burton and Depp's relationship were so tight, like, Depp wasn't just going to dip on him. So he stuck around and did it anyway. No. A lot of it just changed what it was, and what it turned out to be it was a lot more horrific and, a little more adult than it turned out to be.
And in fact, Johnny made a comment. He's like, going into this, I had this character figured out, and then it switched into this character, and someone made a comment, think Michael Jackson.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do love the Tim Burton version very much.
I enjoy it. It's just not
It's
what I
just
wanted.
as far as Willy Wonka's portrayal goes, Gene Wilder has had it down to, well, even that the opening scene where the scene where you first meet him for the first time, where he comes out and he seems older and decrepit, and then loses the cane and does that somersault and ta-da, that was his idea.
Yep.
To do that,
and they told him not to do it.
Yeah, but like later on in the film, you get the sense that there's an underlying darkness that's underneath there, even though he's coming across as approachable and lighthearted. Yep. You get the sense that he will just sit and watch the kids die.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Especially like for a lot of the movie, and it's not until towards the end that like Charlie helps him kind of reignite like his own inner child, which from the looks of him, he thought it was long dead.
Yeah,
and that's where I thought Timothy Chalamet, I think however you pronounce his name, like he had the childlike wonder, but if you really watch his eyes and the way he reacts to his friend ended up in the cage after he makes the deal, like all that stuff, you start to see this almost haunted look in his eyes a little bit towards the end of that movie. Even though things turn out okay or whatever, like you have these moments where you're like, okay. And now they're talking about doing a couple more to bridge the gap between the movies. And they've already mentioned that the last one they do before that has got to be fairly dark and depressing to really show you how he goes from that to Gene Wilder. And I'm really interested in this progression to see how they do it, because I think they could do like even the dark depressing one. I think it could be beautiful. Like if they do this progression, like I just want to see it, man. I really do. I really want to see this.
Oh yeah.
And so they got a lot of. Go ahead.
When they finally do bridge that gap, are they going to redo the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
There's talk. They've actually talked about this like in interviews. Chalamet, a lot of people involved, they're saying it depends on a lot of things. Like no one wants to touch on that and screw it up. They want to make it seem like it's a transition to that. That's why they've kept it a period piece, like the way they're doing it the whole time. So as of right now, they don't. They plan to get you up to the point where his career is basically over and it's ruined, and the factory is just like a ghost town. And then you can go back and watch the original movie. Like these are like legacy prequels, is how they're viewing it. But if the right thing came along and the right blessings from those still alive were given, they won't say no. But that's not their intention to shit on something.
Right.
It's to build something up. And the other big mistake with the Johnny Depp one was the Oompa Loompa situation. There was lawsuits involved in that. A lot of lawsuits. Warwick Davis, who has the company that represents people below a certain height and above a certain height. You know him from Leprechaun, Harry Potter, and a lot of other in Star Wars.
Right.
His company actually was part of those lawsuits because those were a lot of jobs that should have been given away to people of that stature that weren't. And the new one, people complained until they pointed out that Hugh Grant only played one Oompa Loompa. He was only meant to play one. And the rumor is that one of the next movies is going to be an adventure actually on Oompa Loompa Island, so you actually get to see a lot of different Oompa Loompas. That's one of the things that they've discussed. So I think as long as they do right by that and they actually use people they should be using for stuff like that, although Hugh Grant did a very good job, I got to give him props. He was decent. I'd like to see that go back to more practical. There's no reason to use effects on that when we can be practical about it.
So then we're treating the Johnny Depp Wonka kind of like how we treat the Highlander 2 movie.
Good on it as its own thing, but not better than the best.
I, for one, would love to see Peter Dinklage as a very, very, very angry Oompa Loompa.
Me too. That would be brilliant. I just want to see him in anything and everything. I'm still waiting for him to do the official release date of the new Toxic Avenger, because it's only been in a couple cons and it's not been released because they're still looking from what I understood, for a while they were still looking for distribution. But what I just read recently is that there's a potential release date in July for Disney Plus. I don't know how accurate that is, but Fox was part of the original with Legendary Pictures. So, I mean, I don't know how true this is. This is a rumor that I saw for the first time today. So I haven't had a chance to vet that one yet. So I'm going to pretend it's not true until I know for sure. But I would definitely watch it on there. Like, I have Disney Plus. Shit, man. I watch cool stuff on there all the time.
Yes, but the Toxic Avenger.
I mean, you got to understand, it's a new, more Hollywood Toxic Avenger. So a lot of the gags and stuff that Troma got away with aren't quite the same. There's a lot in there, but it's not quite as rough as Troma stuff.
Let's see if you have any guts.
So, I wonder if Deadpool is going to go on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is.
The new one?
After it's been out for a while, it's already going to go on Disney. Well, they've already been doing some R-rated stuff, and they're starting to put some more R content to a degree onto Disney Plus. They're not shying away from it. Honestly, you also have to know that the Xenomorph is now a Disney princess, and they're doing more alien stuff. It's also going to Disney Plus, but of course, Disney also owns Hulu, so some of it's going to Hulu instead. So
yeah, I mean, there is a setting on Disney Plus now where you can set whether you're over 18 or under 18.
Yep, they started doing that from a lot of the Marvel movies and shows.
Bitch, I had to go in there and reset it because I had it set for me, and then they're like, "Nah, you're like 12," and I'm like, "Bull crap."
I just watch all that stuff.
Now you bring up Alien, which makes me think of Sigourney Weaver, which in turn makes me think of Linda Hamilton. I've been enjoying the hell out of Resident Alien,
dude.
This is amazing show.
To me, this is the perfect one of our shows to discuss the show, because to me, someone that struggles with borderline personality disorder and borderline autism, I feel that Alien like in my soul, like not knowing how to socially interact, like trying to understand what the fuck is going on around him, thinking he's doing the right thing that's going to help people, only to be doing the thing that's probably going to get everyone murdered. Like his whole personality, the way he does it, feels like someone that's just neurodivergent. Like he's a representation of that, and I'm in love with Alan Tudyk in that. Like, I love him, period. But like in this role, man.
Yeah,
holy
but
shit.
That and just the fantastic writing. Everybody gets an arc. Like the sheriff, he just starts off as kind of just your standard dick, power hungry, but then as the seasons go on, you understand why he's like that. Same with Linda Hamilton's general character, why she's doing that and all that. It's just,
I've seen everything but the new season. Like the newest season, I haven't started on the newest season.
I'm about halfway through season 1, so don't tell me anything.
Okay.
No,
I'm not that far into it.
You're right. Like this is one of those shows where it gets micro instead of macro, where they laser in on this town. Like every character you see from even people you can't imagine will have their own arc later. Like,
yes.
And it'll surprise the shit out of you. But like you said, it's written so well, and it's like folded into these stories so well that it's amazing. It's an example of great television, like you don't get so often these days.
I'm still in the storyline where the alien wants to kill the little boy because the little boy can actually see him for what he is.
Oh yeah.
That progresses in a lot of really cool and interesting ways that I think you're really going to enjoy.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking that they'll probably end up becoming friends after a while.
Not really.
It
only gets worse.
Not worse.
If we had to ruin it a little, I'd say frenemies. Would be
that's a good word.
Okay.
I would say it's kind of complicated, but
it's I like you. I'm going to stab you in the face later. Have a good day. Kind of a relationship.
It's more like sibling rivalry then.
Oh no, because they don't hide it. They don't have a parent. They got to hide it from. Well, in a way, kind of at one point, but not a parent.
Oh yeah.
I need to get back to watching the show then.
Oh, please do. It's brilliant, man. I recommend it to everybody.
Oh yes. Now I've watched everything, and I'm waiting for the episodes to start coming out now. Every week.
I'm waiting until it ends so I can binge it, because I know me. What I'm going to want to do is start back over from episode 1 just to binge it all together again. So that's my plan. The second that last episode is released. That's what I did with Rick and Morty too. I had to start like a week ahead of time. Rick and Morty ending, and I just did it all. But this one, I can watch all the seasons in probably like two days, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
It's worth it. It is worth it. No matter how many times you've seen Resident Alien, to just rewatch it from the beginning, and then get the new content, because new seasons will also add layers to other seasons that you thought were done. Like you thought the storylines were wrapped up. And suddenly there's a new layer that makes you think about earlier episodes completely differently. So if you go back and watch them, you get like almost a different vibe from an older episode.
Yeah.
I love that.
I never
I love
thought of it that way.
Yeah, like some shows are good at that. Most shows don't bother with that because most shows don't care about replayable so much in the modern age. Like people will binge it on streaming services once and they're done. But this is one of those shows that like goes back old school and thinks about layers and storytelling.
There was a show that I binged watch. I think it was like 6 seasons. It's called Person of Interest.
That was a good show too. I enjoyed that one actually.
If you're unfamiliar with it, Jim Caviezel plays the main character, and he's ex-CIA, ex-Special Ops, and all of that. And he gets hired by a guy named Harold, who is a computer expert programmer who has developed this software that is capable of hacking into pretty much anything and has access to cameras all around the world. And so essentially they use these cameras to try to predict when someone is going to be bad and commit a crime.
But not just any crime, like big shit.
Well,
usually.
yeah.
Usually.
Well, it can do small crimes too, but they sort of rank them as to which ones are the most imperative to deal with. So he goes out and he tries to stop this stuff from happening before it ever happens. And it gets like really intense as the seasons go on.
Oh, yeah.
And they knew that the show was going to be ending, that they were not going to be doing another season. So they tried to wrap up, all of the loose ends, all of the story threads and everything by the final episode. And
bless them for that. Seriously, bless those people for actually thinking, hey, we should wrap up this story because we know it's going to go by.
So, his character does get an ending, but they did also leave an opening if they ever wanted to bring the show back or create a spinoff show, but they never did. And I really kind of wish they had, because I think the spinoff show could have expanded upon this world so much more, kind of like the show Leverage did. Leverage sort of ended, but then they did Leverage Redemption, and now it's
I still haven't seen Redemption yet.
And I love that. I really wish that they had actually done more with the spinoff show.
I want to see it because I haven't yet, but one of the same actors is also the show Librarians, and Librarians is coming back this year, and I'm so fucking freaking excited about it.
I didn't know
Mom
that.
says you want to see that, and the cool part about season 5 of Person of Interest is one of my kids' most favorite YouTubers, Kid Time Storytime, where she reads them all types of kid picture books that they all love. She is in like 3 episodes of that, or 2 episodes where she is the news broadcaster.
I'd forgotten
going
about
out
that,
and actually talking to them with the microphone. And that was so cool. And I'm like, there she is. It's Storyteller Kids.
It's so fucking badass. I'd say though, Netflix has hurt me. I will now not start a new show until it's got like at least two or three seasons out a lot of the times, if it's like a streaming service show, because they've screwed me up too many times getting too invested in stuff. Them and Hulu. Freakish was a show on Hulu it just started out so brilliant, and then they kept for like 5 years. They promised a new season for 5 years, and then 5 years later, oh yeah, we were just stringing you guys along. We're not going to do that anymore. And we're like, what? We only had like 2 seasons. It was brilliant. And then Hemlock Grove on Netflix, where one of the biggest things that an early Bill Skarsgård came from. One of the most brilliant shows ever written. It won awards. Coming off an award seasons where it won multiple more awards, they just canceled it. No more filming. And this was a couple years pre-COVID, so there was no excuse for it. It was just bye.
Well, they did that with what's the show about the passengers on the plane that disappeared? The List or something? What was it called?
What's that? Hey, you. What's that show we used to watch about the passengers on
Manifest.
The plane? Yeah, Manifest. Sorry.
Manifest.
Yeah. Yes, but Netflix they brought Manifest back though. They're finishing Manifest.
When?
Well, no, they were filming, but the writer's strike. The strikes happened. So they're back to filming again after that. But their biggest travesty was Daybreak, the most brilliantly written zombie survival anything show, movie, anything of all time. And we got one season during COVID. Within a couple days of it being out and everybody raving and it being up for awards and just the whole nation went nuts over this show. They announced, "Oh yeah, it's too expensive to do that during COVID. We're going to cancel it, but we might bring it back later." And they never did. And this was a show that had no resolution. I mean, it got to a stopping point for a season, but it was brilliant. It was serious. There was comedy. There was everything. It was that good.
With Netflix, I'm beginning to see that perhaps it's one of those companies that takes a look at the list of the shows and movies that they're doing, and they say to themselves, "This one is really popular. It's making us tons of money. Let's cancel it."
Yeah,
no reason.
What it feels, and they're the worst at it. They are the worst at it, man. Like the only thing they do well, though, like more so than other streaming services, is self-contained miniseries. And honestly, that's thanks to Mike Flanagan. Just straight up, that's thanks to Flanagan. Like his shit has been brilliant. I haven't seen The Fall of the House of Usher. That's one of the newer ones that came out last year that I'm dying to see. But Midnight Mass, brilliant. Bly Manor, Hunting at Bly Manor, Haunting at Hill House. Like these are amazing level productions. Only one season. They're self-contained. Those I'll watch all day long. If it's self-contained and I know there's an end, I will watch a million of them back to back. But they're starting to get better at that kind of stuff finally.
Yeah, Netflix is the kind of company that they will actually experiment with some of these series. That people will pitch it to them and they'll pick it up and say, "Okay, we'll give you this much money to make so many episodes." And then, we can reassess after all of those episodes are out what the ratings are like, if it's making us any money, and so on and so forth. So it could do exceptionally well, but there might be one other show that does just a little bit better, in which case they'll say, "Okay, we're canceling this one and going with this one." So you only get like one season out of it, and it doesn't get a resolution. But those shows are made in case anybody else wants to pick it up, or they might want to revisit it later when they do have the extra money to throw at it.
For every one good thing they do that's amazing, though, there's 10 more good ones that they just overshadow and they shoot in the foot. Like the prequel to Z Nation. I love Z Nation. They did a prequel to it. Same showrunner. They put so many restrictions on him of things he could not do. It could not be like Z Nation. It had to be serious. It couldn't have like the humor that Z Nation had. It pretty much just bombed. Honestly, it went to shit. It didn't go anywhere.
One Piece, the live action version of One Piece that they did. Fucking great show. I
just found out about what One Piece was last weekend.
I know absolutely nothing about the animated version. There's over 1,000 freaking episodes of the animated version of One Piece. It takes place over years, like 30 years. And they've got like over 1,000 episodes. Are they going to do the same thing with the live action version of it? Well, of course they can't, because people aren't going to live that freaking long. But the one season that they did have was self-contained. It did have a good, resolution to the end of it, but it did leave it open in case they want to make another season of it or another series of it. So I thought that they did a really good job with that.
Yeah,
it was really successful.
I've heard good things about that. I mean, but they also have other great things. Like, go ahead, Denny.
Okay, Pyle.
I'm going to be taking off. I just wanted to let you all know say goodnight.
Almost 11:30.
Good night.
See you guys tomorrow for Tomb of the Terrible.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Awesome. I'm wondering how many people are going to have I kick ass for the Lord as their little quote.
But for all their stinkers and their bullshit, we get Cobra Kai, which I've loved. We get Stranger Things, which has been one of my favorite things ever. And thanks to Netflix, the Duffer Brothers have their own production company, and they're actually going to be doing other things beyond Stranger Things. There's already 2 spinoffs they're talking about. They're talking about events happening in other states and other cities with different casts. So it's like a whole world like building thing. And from my understanding, they're doing some Stephen King projects here soon.
I'd like to interject that because of the 4th season of Stranger Things, they really, 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 they made the Hesher the good guy for once, and not the bully or the bad guy.
And
finally, vindication.
and we're expecting him back in this season. He's got to be.
I wonder how they're going to do it, but yay.
I'm going to tell you how, and if I'm wrong, I will shit a brick.
Okay.
So, they're using straight up D&D lore for his character. 1,000,000% D&D lore with Eddie, like to a crazy degree. So there's a very famous story that they are literally playing out in front of us from D&D, like old school D&D lore. It's about the very similar character that was downtrodden, not a metalhead, obviously, but downtrodden, she went to hell, and he gets turned into a vampire. And then he becomes the first, in D&D lore, the first good guy vampire is like, you know what? Fuck this demon lord. I'm going to show you how it's going to turn out. And he actually rebels against evil and helps this group of heroes take down the big bad. And there have been all these little hints and all these things throughout the season he was in, like, that mirrored a lot of the lore from the game. So we're really expecting him to come back, like, as a vampire or something like that, but still in aid of the kids. Like, that's what's got to happen with the way they built that up. If it doesn't, I don't even know if I'll like the season if they don't pull that angle in somehow and how hard they've ramped towards it.
That sounds very logical. I could see that
there's
happening.
clues all over the place, like even right down to how the guy became a vampire. Like, not the exact situation. Obviously, he wasn't playing, Metallica on a guitar or anything, but like him being overwhelmed to save his party when it happens to him. Like, it just way too many details that are exact. And let's also remember that the Demogorgon was actually a D&D monster before he was even in the show. So they've done a lot of D&D lore and building the storylines that have been.
I mean, the show in season 1, the first scene, they're playing D&D.
Yep.
So that just makes sense.
Yep.
And don't they even explain what the Demogorgon is so that it kind of sets it up for when you actually see it in the show?
Yep.
Why they refer to the creature as the Demogorgon?
Yep, because that's the big bad that they're using. He doesn't so much look like the Demogorgon per se. The Demogorgon is the thing's code name because it was evil in real life, and the campaign that he's running for them right now, the big bad was the Demogorgon. So they just refer to it as the Demogorgon because of the campaign they were playing.
This might sound funny to say coming from, the martial artist of the group, but I've watched all of Stranger Things, loved it. I have yet to finish Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai is a lot of fun. And the drama gets a little too, like, okay, we're going to do this shtick again, which is probably why they're ending it where they're ending it, because they've jumped the shark. Last season just finished jumping the shark for Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
so all we got now is to wrap it up.
Yeah, I didn't watch the last season, so I have no idea how they jumped the shark or anything like that. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I do know that I've been watching it since day one, and you can tell there are like certain beats, certain episodes that it's kind of formulaic now, where it's like, okay, this is the one where the two groups get into this big brawl.
Yep.
Only like this season it's in the school, and the next season it's at a pool party or whatever.
Then a dojo,
right?
But now it's the adults instead of the kids,
right?
It's literally it's the same shtick and the same things they're doing. Even the love triangles with the kids. It's most of the time at least one if not two of the same kids are involved in every love triangle. So it's like it's so formulaic. It's to the point now where they can't do anything new. So now there's a couple people from past films that they're going to be bringing in from the new season to kind of finish wrapping everything up to tell the rest.
Hilary Swank.
I've heard that, yeah.
That would be awesome. Oh, Jackie Chan should be there. I don't care if
that would be awesome. I have no idea who for sure. I mean, I've heard mentions of Swank, but I don't know if it's really going to happen or not. I just haven't paid that close attention, but I have heard rumors about that.
I could see it happen. It would be very easy to write her into the story just because she had that Miyagi connection. Maybe her adult character now is visiting LA on like some business trip or something, and then she sees the big sign on the side of the road for Miyagi-Do karate with Ralph Macchio's face there, Daniel's face on the sign, and she goes, huh.
Then she saves a praying mantis.
Yeah. Honestly, the way they brought Chosen into the whole thing, I'm convinced they can bring anybody back from any aspect, and it would be brilliant. Because I never thought in a million years they'd go with that angle, and when they did it, I was like, "Okay, that was good. That was surprising. That was actually really good.
Right.
I liked that a lot."
This is a strip mall now. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sad, but
yeah, we've definitely been all over the place today, in a good way,
Yes,
the best
we
way
have.
possible.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we are at 11:30. How long do we want to go on this? Since we've covered a wide range of topics tonight, I think.
Yeah, we can go anytime we'd like. That's the beautiful part about the padded cell. It's the one show that we just don't have time limits. Like when everybody's feeling good and feeling like we're at the end, we can end if you guys want.
Yeah, I have
I
a
have
padded
one
cell
question.
behind me.
yes.
Go ahead, Jenny.
In the movie Brain Dead, Dead Alive, was it Zendaya or Zendaya?
Zendaya.
Zendaya. Okay, because I knew probably other people would have I kick ass for the Lord. I want to do Zendaya.
But if you listen, it's pronounced both ways.
Yeah, which is the hard part.
It's supposed to be the Z,
it'd
but
be so easy to critique that movie right now, and we have to save it for tomorrow.
nope,
night.
no, that's tomorrow.
Yep.
That's tomorrow.
It's for tomorrow.
Wait for this one.
That's my baby. So
That's what y'all got to look forward to tomorrow. Come tune in at 9 p.m. You got Uncle Necro leading us as our fearless leader for Tomb of the Terrible with Dead Alive.
a little more streamlined now. But
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks good.
And
Thank
Wednesday, of course, we've got Mats and Monsters is rolling back through on Wednesday with some more color commentary for the Mats and Monsters Wrestling Federation, plus more talk about leading up to WrestleMania. Thursday, we have nothing this Thursday, actually, because this is Brooklyn's birthday, so we're not doing a D&D adventure this coming Thursday, because I'm going to the convention for Horror Hound over the weekend. And Amazing Winners won the ticket package for the Carnage in Columbus special, where me and Pyle are kidnapping people in his creeper van, stuffing pizza in their faces forcefully, and tormenting them while we take them to a haunted house. And then I'm back to the convention as soon as that's
as you do.
I'm jealous.
I want to have pizza stuffed in my face and be tormented. And
What kind of pizza? Does it have pineapple on it? In which case, I'm going to have to go. No,
I don't know. That's on Pyle. That's
Weird.
Pyle's
I like pineapple on pizza.
I like
So-
I like pineapple on the right pizza. Like it's
I
not
like
just any
pineapple
pineapple
on chocolate
pizza. Like,
shakes.
it's got to be good. Like Donato's pineapple, like Hawaiian pizza, is actually surprisingly amazing. They use shredded ham, so it's really fucking good.
Heathens.
I will gladly be called a heathen. My mother-in-law calls me that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, me too. Proud heathen.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool stuff coming up on this Sunday. I know the Clutch is coming back this Sunday. I should know what guest is going to be on the Clutch because we had a big conversation about this recently. But the Clutch is coming back Sunday. And then the Sunday after that, we're premiering our newest show, the Owlite Picture Show, where we bring indie filmmakers from all over the world of different jobs and positions straight to the screen to talk to them and hang out.
I believe
Curtis?
we're bringing in the killer sofa guy.
Yeah, Bernie. Oh, yeah, Curtis, you're right.
I am
Curtis
so
Imloff.
Yeah, Curtis Lawson is going to be on Clutch. Yeah, but yeah, it's all about Killer Sofa on Owlite Pictures. It's going to be good. We got so much stuff good coming up for you guys.
What was his name? Bernie Rao.
Bernie Rao. Yep.
Bernie Rao. Yeah.
And then right after this convention, I'm at Horror Hound weekend. Come check me out. I'm going to have a camera rolling. I don't want to just interview like the stars and the vendors. I want to interview the guests. We're going to talk. I'm going to ask you guys randomly if you come see me. I want to know who wins between the Tall Man and Pinhead. Who wins between Xenomorph and Pennywise? We need to know. So we're going to be doing a lot of different polls with you guys there at the convention. Hang out with you again. Sharonville, Ohio, Horror Hound weekend, the horror convention, Friday through Sunday this coming up weekend. So I'll be down there. And then after that, we'll be talking about some other cons we're going to. And then starting in April, we officially start production on the first Owlite Films movie, The Bewildered Beast. So that's going to be, we'll be talking about a lot of that while we're filming things. And everyone you see now and everyone you've ever seen in our shows at some point in time will be in this movie in one way or another. We're going to make that happen.
Wow.
Might be digitally, but we're going to make it happen. We got to. And then sometime after that, the world record we're going to break for the largest ever built box fort, which we're going to turn then into a haunted box fort for charity. That's our next big project after the movie. I feel like you missed so much, James.
I think so too. I do apologize. There's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of medical stuff.
There was a period of like 2 whole weeks where I didn't. No, actually 3 weeks where I didn't even appear in a single show, and then I just monkeyed in the background. Like we've all got these times, and guys, that's why you see us rotate in and out sometimes. Like we all actually have lives and a lot of important things to do sometimes. So we're such good friends. We're such good friends, and we're so in sync that like we can just tag each other in and out as needed. Like that's what we built here.
And just quite frankly, I do struggle heavily with depression. Both Jen and Ron would they were there when I was like before the show Tomb of the Terrible a couple of weeks ago. I just didn't know if I had the right level of effervescence to actually pull it off.
We had a really good show,
and it turned out to be a really good show.
It was a really good show.
Yeah, but quite frankly, I always second guess myself, and I always think of myself as, yes, I'm the host, but I like to let the other people, talk about this too, and just let them run ripshod while I'm listening. And quite frankly, Raz, you were amazing with this whole, charismatic. You bring everything in. You're like the rug in The Big Lebowski.
I really tied the room together.
And Del, obviously, fantastic.
It's weird though, because me and Del hate people almost more than anyone else on the planet, but you get a camera in front of us and our friends, and we're like, we got this. Any other environment that's not this or the haunt, I'm the guy that's already out the door or hiding in a corner or smoking weed and don't give a shit about what's going on.
Yeah. It's not like I doubted, the quality of everybody else who was there. It was just myself thinking.
You shouldn't doubt yourself either, man. You pulled off some rather amazing things in your time with us, to be honest with you. Yeah. And you're here for a reason, just like we are. Everyone you see on the shows, guys, that's hosts, we're all here for a reason. We're not just family and friends that yank each other into shit, although that does happen sometimes. We're here because we work hard and we've earned our spots, and we're all very passionate about everything we talk about, as you can easily tell by watching any of our shows.
Well, as you can probably attest, my mind knows that for the logical part, but then when the chemical imbalance starts to shift, and we're about an hour to the showtime, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to exist.
Anxiety with a big sledgehammer.
Right.
As my karate student Bill would say, my mind gets it. I'm just waiting for my body to catch up.
Right.
Yeah. But I would say that we're all like, even when we're all having like a bad day and we do the shows anyway, like for me, that's a good thing, because I'm with people that I know give a shit about me in this world where most people don't. And we can not give a shit about the rest of the world together. And that's a powerful thing, guys. Like, it may not seem it, but that is a very powerful thing, to not care about the world together.
Dude, it's like recently I had Heather Hancock on. She's such a wonderful lady and such a wonderful teacher. But there was no reason for it, because she's such a wonderful person. I had so much anxiety, I wanted to throw up.
I've done a number of shows, like our 24-hour show, where I seemed like I was just ready to go all the time. The whole 24 hours, I was a nervous wreck. Like, just freaking out inside, going, oh my God, this is going to go to, things are going to go wrong. And it somehow was like the most easygoing and like flawlessly smooth thing of any large scale that I think I've ever done in my life, by sheer coincidence.
With the schedule we all set up, it was so easy to figure out how to keep that going. With the schedule and I'm like, okay, we can do this. I want to throw up, but
yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah. I don't think anybody noticed that either of you had. We were the only two on for the whole 24 hours, and minus when Del did the reading, but we were still actually there. We were still there, just not on screen. And like that was like, we just hit each other. Like any moment that I started to flag a little bit, you were there to cover for me. I was there to cover for you, and that was some intense shit. And we realized how poorly planned that was, although it didn't come across that way to viewers. Apparently, we realized how poorly we planned it after we did the show.
And the thing is, we planned so hard for so long, and it was still poorly planned.
Because there was big gaps of things. We were just like, oh, I didn't think about that until it happened.
Yeah.
Like, things are like so obvious in your face. You're like, fuck, how did I not even account for that?
Well, heck, I'm still learning. Dude, you've done this longer than I have. But the thing is, I think some things just come up and we don't see it, regardless of how much what was the stupid word experience you have at doing it.
Oh yeah, it does not matter. It does not matter, dude. Because we did Twisted Geekdom for 5 years, and I had like a 3.5 year break before I started doing the other network in the Mist again, and then before that I did radio for like 6-7 years. It does not matter how long I've been doing this. Something will always happen, usually at least once a month, that I have never seen or experienced before that I got to figure out. Oh fuck.
Well, like they say, experience is the one thing you don't have until just after you need it.
Exactly. But yeah, I think we're doing a great job. We talking about one of the last shows we did, the last pedestal we did with James. That this is we're bears repeating. For you. I've actually gone back and watched a lot of our shows back from when we first became a network, and like a lot of the shows since then. And we've all had our bad times. Like each and every one of us have had a day where you could tell we were pissed and angry with each other and didn't want to be there, like or just angry. Like we've all had that day at some point in time, especially those of us that started like back in the beginning. We've all had days that were just tough for us, but we did it. But like what we've done as a group, do you know we got like 150 plus videos on YouTube? Like the amount of shit and the content we've done now in nine months, dude, 9 months is astronomical and is not normal for any group of people to do. And I don't care if one person watches this or a million. It's still amazing to see like where we were and like where we just keep pushing to. And now you're going to be on a trading card, man. We're all realizing our childhood dreams and we're printing trading cards. Oh yeah, we're doing trading cards right now. You're about to be on a trading card, my friend. That's another thing you missed.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me and Pyle already handled it. It's just getting pictures and we just finished designing business cards that you're going to get some of. We just finished the designing of that. Already paid for. We paid for the trading cards. We're going to have each of the 10 people in series 1 is going to get their own pack. We're going to have 10 packs extra for giveaways. We're getting banners for conventions already.
Okay.
Shit's going. Yeah, it's been trucking, man. Just when I disappear and don't talk in the chat for like a week or two at a time, and then I pop up and say crazy things, those are real things that I'm saying. They seem crazy, but they're real. I just take time between to figure it all out.
I can't wait to post it on Facebook. I'm going to be on a trading card.
Yep.
Do I come with a stick of bubble gum?
We don't. We can't legally do the gum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because unless it's that gum, the kind of gum that your gums are bleeding, and is just hard.
What you can do is, you can buy a stick of gum and put it in your own pack and be like, hey, look, my pack comes with gum. That you can do. Like, we just can't package it with gum.
It just can't be juicy fruit anymore.
Yeah, not unless it's been dried out in your closet for at least 3 years. Then you can put it in your pack of cards.
Wait, is it juicy fruit or fruit striped gum? That's
both.
Both?
Yep.
Life without juicy fruit. Why?
Get some Hubba Bubba or some Bubbalicious.
Fruit Stripe is one that's completely going away, but there's talk about juicy fruit following in its footsteps.
I mean, sure, the flavor lasts for what, 5 seconds? But
for both of those gums equally.
It's just
childhood. Oh yeah, but yeah, we're doing crazy shit, guys. I've got prices for rolling papers with our logo on it for all you people out there. That event, not right now, but eventually we're talking about doing. We're working with Wicked Effects, who's potentially going to produce the small versions of our owl that are 3D printed and articulated that we can buy. We've got T-shirt stuff going more often. We've got a lot of things going, and remember, buy our products once we start putting them out there. We always take donations if you're really enjoying what we're doing, because literally every penny we make goes into printing stuff to give away to each other and to you, or books that we buy and send to you, or who knows what we're gonna buy and send to you, because our overhead isn't zero. We do pay for things, so anything helps.
And also, most of us, if not all of us, are writers. So,
and in honor of that,
we
go ahead, Ron.
Books.
Yes. Most of us have books, short stories out there, and also the Owlite Menagerie, which we haven't talked a lot about. We are producing an anthology of the writers from the guests and hosts of the show, and the deadline is like this week, I think, or tomorrow, or it's close.
It's the 20th.
March 20th.
Okay, the 20th to get the stories
in.
This
Wednesday.
Mine, so. And all the proceeds are going to a charity. We're actually we're trying to find a new charity because we picked this really awesome one who I don't want to name because they're amazing people. They were so sweet in the email, but they thought because it was a charity for children and children's literacy, because of our 18 and up content and our our anthology is horror, that they thought we were all brilliant and loved us. But unfortunately, they felt that could be a mixed message.
Yeah.
But they were like so apologetic and so sweet. Like they were so sweet about it. And I saw it and I was like, oh, it kind of broke my heart to get the response. I was like, I feel bad for you feeling bad now. But we are working on a good literacy foundation for, to get out there for this one.
I have submitted my story for the menagerie as of today. I actually submitted it before, and Patty told me that go ahead and add the extra words because it was only about 2,400 words, and it had to be between 4K and 6K.
Yep.
So I went back through and added another 1,600 words. Well, actually now 1,800 because it's 4,200.
Hasn't said anything about mine. I know I submitted it through the.
You're not going to get it. You won't get feedback until after the submission window's done.
Okay.
It's been received.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We have received it. I did let you know that we collectively received it when you asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is yours done yet, Jenny? Getting there?
It's getting there.
Okay. I know yours and Dell's are both getting there. The three of ours are in. Oh my God, Jason just turned his in from Elliott Radio and Elliott Adventures. He just turned his in, and his was like 400 words short, so he had to go back and beef his up too. It's shaping up to be a really cool anthology.
He's returned it.
Tell us about your stories. I mean, can we do a little teaser of what the stories are for the menagerie without going into too much detail?
Well, I assume we're going to do at least some kind of reading or something afterwards, because we're going to do a release party for the book where we're actually going to talk about it, a lot about it, what we're doing and all that.
They'll get teasers after we've done the thing.
Yeah.
And
can we
then
do a campfire session and actually read stories from it or something?
Possibly during. Well, that's what the release party's for.
Okay.
Mine involves a lighthearted angel of death, quantum physics, and very, very, very downer of an ending.
Mine's a love story about a boy in his hand.
A boy in his hand?
And it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It just sounded fun to say.
Okay.
It's a very touching story.
Well,
what's the touching, Raz?
Outlight After Dark.
What was that, Jenny?
I said, unsurprisingly, mine involves death.
Not surprising. I'm going to write that story. I'm going to write a touching story about a boy in his hand and just see how it goes. There's got to be a love triangle in there somewhere.
A touching story about a boy in his hand.
With these, that could go any way. That could go the obvious way, or there could be something controlling his hand that talks to him.
And done.
Oh, hello. I am Handy. Oh,
Pamela Henderson.
Okay.
No, it's Mitch O'Connor. You can't see my hand over there, but it's Mitch O'Connor.
Oh.
Mitch O'Connor and everything.
Hello.
Or the I am Jennifer Lopez. Taco. Sorry. We're South Park.
You're too far away to give you a taco. I'm sorry.
No, I had this place called Torch Tacos with Pyle, the people from Wicked Effects, and Matt the other night. And oh my God, it was delicious. Best queso ever. I am still paying for it. Badly from yesterday still.
In my last job, if I was in that mood where I didn't want to talk to any of my coworkers, I would just, he'd have a French accent. Hello. No, it is really.
I would say, oops, I crap my pants and walk away. And they would
go away.
If you tell people you shit yourself, they will not ask you questions and you can get out of any situation. Try it. The bank, you're short on your deposit. I just shit my pants and just walk out and no one's going to follow you.
Okay.
It's true.
I used to work a job where that was my life. Everybody did
shit their pants.
Yeah, it was my whole job just to clean it up.
Ugh.
Sooner or later, everybody shits themselves. That's just life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened
shit
to me.
Yourself, you shit the bed, proverbially. There's,
there are certain antibiotics that I was on that would do that. I would wake up and I'm like, oh no.
Yep. I'm not ashamed to say this. My nerve damage is so severe. I can literally shit myself in public and have no idea it's even happening. I can't actually feel anything on some days. So I have legit shat myself in public because of that. It's terrible to get home and find out that you shat yourself.
That's why you never wear white pants.
My diamond only farted.
Believe it or not, yes, that is actually one of the reasons why I never wear light colored clothing down there. I always wear dark colored pants or shorts or pants. It's only happened like a couple times in my life in public, but it's been more than two is enough to make you not wear brightly colored pants on the off chance you can't feel it happen.
That guy has the idea. He wore the brown pants.
I love that. Love that. We will officially say goodnight as soon as Jenny comes back. Now we're going to wait on Jenny and be polite.
Well, the problem with shorts is if it starts running down your leg.
Oh, no, it drips right out on the floor, I'm sure.
Ugh.
Now, is it odd that, speaking of shorts, I've taken to wearing shorts a lot because I kind of want to have people look at my prosthetic to see what's on there. Confront them with reality. See what their reaction is going to be. Will it be pity, which is not what I want? Or how are they going to treat me?
Yeah. And you're never going to know until you shit yourself.
Right.
Yeah. That's the moment you find out who your friends are.
Oh, yes.
And that's how Monster was born.
Yeah, there are stories that we just won't go into.
Everybody I've ever met in my life has a shit story.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met someone that does not legitimately have I had to go shit somewhere and I was in public story. Regardless of how it ended up, I've never met anyone that doesn't have one of those stories. We actually should probably do a whole campfire session on just one episode called The Shit Show and just everybody tell us a good story. Because that would be absolutely hilarious.
Sure.
We're going to do it. Next month, guys, we're going to do an episode called The Shit Show, and it's going to be we're doing it. Fuck it. We're definitely doing it because now we need to know.
Are these stories that we're reading or stories that we're telling?
Yes.
Yeah. No. I mean, telling. This is going to be an experiential episode where we actually all story tell without reading something when we tell our shit stories.
Oh, God. This could be like an extremely embarrassing episode.
I got some really funny ones. I got a couple really funny ones. Happened to me and other people. Like some really good ones.
Doesn't have to be.
Things are only embarrassing if you let them be, dude.
Yep.
Once we reach a certain age, we don't have to be embarrassed about things anymore. We can just tell people to fuck up. We've leveled up to this point. I think the cutoff age is like 40. Once you've hit 40, you're already getting your license to start not giving a fuck. And then from there on, every year you're required less and less by law to give a shit about what's going on around you.
I mean,
if James can do it, 50. I guess I can do it too. Then.
I mean, I'm 50 now, and I definitely have that fuck it kind of attitude there.
Oh yeah, and Ron, if you can wear a thong in public with a nurse character to haunt, you can certainly tell a shit story and not be embarrassed, my friend.
You got a point. I can't really argue that.
What's left? What is truly left in life to be embarrassed about? And our lives and situation, what do we have left?
I don't know, man. I can rock a thong pretty well.
You do. I think you should do some modeling.
You gotta hammock up.
Yep.
Sometimes
bananas or no bananas.
Yeah, yes.
It all depends on the temperature.
Yeah. While we're waiting, I got a funny story for you right now. I had to piss really bad coming back from Torch Tacos. And here Pyle is. Every time I tell this motherfucker to take a left turn, what does he do? Okay. He turns right. He did this so many times that I had to pee so bad I couldn't wait. So I jumped out of his van at a stop sign in the middle of a neighborhood and pissed in someone's yard. I didn't. It was late. We finally found a section of the neighborhood where their street lights were dim or not working. I just launched right out of that van and just pissed all over their front yard. I didn't care. I had to go that bad because this guy cannot make Pyle. You cannot make left turns, my friend. Left turns are left.
So every time
you righty tighty.
So every time my uncle comes over, he goes behind the house and finds a tree, and then he'll come in and it'll confuse the kids because they'll see the truck and not know where he went. So I'm like, no, don't go in the backyard. Come back inside.
You not have a bathroom in the house?
No, I have a bathroom, but also he is an old an old woodsman.
Dude,
and
I get it.
He
I do
doesn't
that.
care.
when I have friends that like live out in places where it don't matter so much, I will go in their yard, like off to the woods, and I'll piss before I go inside. Sometimes at the haunt, if I got to go bad enough and I don't want to go down the stairs, I just go to the woods behind the haunt.
Well, I've got you all beat by when I was over the road trucker. I went from East St. Louis all the way to the middle of Mississippi in one drive, and
With bottles.
no. I drank this, huge 62-ounce thing of coffee.
Oof.
And around Arkansas, I'm like,
Kroger's.
Oh God.
Hey, Rogers.
Oh God. And then I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. And, I by the time I got to Mississippi to the truck stop to gas up, I ran inside. I couldn't stand up. And I got into the bathroom, and even at like 5 a.m, that all of the urinal stalls were being used, and it felt like forever because I could taste the pee.
Oh yeah,
about to happen. And then later on, after I'm finished, my trainer, the trainer guy who was doing it was like a month with the actual driver of the rig, Travis was his name. He told me, when that happens, I just pull over and I get into the middle portion where the truck meets the trailer, especially at night on the freeway, and just let go.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, I wish you would have told me.
Because you're mostly blocked from view at that point, right?
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Oh yes. And you're a big rig, you have your flashers going. Nobody thinks twice.
Oh yeah.
Because we're always like doing maintenance or checking something out.
Am I the only one that would just go around in the 90s and pee in public in parking lots right in the middle of the day and not give a shit? Because that was my whole 90s. Like I was like a legend at all the Radio Shacks, because I don't know why. Almost every time I had to stop and piss somewhere so bad from driving all day and like road trips, everything, I always ended up having to go so bad and being near a Radio Shack parking lot. Like every time I was out, it just almost always was a Radio Shack. And I have friends that still talk about all the road trips we went on, like all different states even, or all the just driving around town we get, and they still have tallies of how many Radio Shack parking lots I pissed in. And apparently they decided that was my number one target. Oh, that doesn't mean it has nothing to do with equipment, lady.
In the woods on the side of the road.
I have plenty of female friends that would just get out on the other side of the car and just squat right in the parking lot across from me. Like, equipment does not matter in this situation.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
It was against their sensibility, so they'd find like a wooded area off to the side.
Gotcha.
So in those type of situations, been there, done that.
We were 90s grunge punks. We just pissed everywhere and we didn't care.
This power of suggestion is starting to hit me here.
We do got to go. Yeah, we do need to end the show. But yeah, just remember, guys, sometime next month, or hopefully next month, and maybe we'll just do it in place of a padded cell next month, but we are going to do the LA Society shit show. Yeah.
Okay, one more thing.
Yep.
Next week, we are doing the Kate Marie Nairist page hop with a bunch of different authors. Oh, nice. I am part of it, and Patricia Harris is part of it. So please come to our pages and check out her stuff, and really cool thing, to Kate's and check out all the author stuff. And then from there, you'll be able to see the different authors up as my cover picture. You'll see all the authors that have joined in.
Is that what Patty posted in the chat the other day?
Yeah.
Since I posted it, I was going to go look at it later. I didn't even know what it was yet.
You can join in, but I do not have the capacity to do it for you. You'll have to come up with the 10 posts yourself and give them to me.
Oh, shit. Okay. We'll see when is it again?
It's next week. You can pick any day. It's just if you can help me figure out what post we want to do, you can do it. I just don't have the capacity to do the post for you.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. It sounds cool, though. With the con coming up this weekend, I'm not sure if I have enough time or mental acuity. Well, but yeah, guys, get the fuck out.
Okay. Does everybody just want to say bye?
See you tomorrow.
See you guys later.
Okay, bye.